Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I am a lost werehair.
I'm Stella Condrey, doer of things online, mostly RPGs.
I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I'm here
Hey.
frequently. You guys should
You
know
are.
this.
You are. This is the SideQuest crew, and that's what we're doing today. This is SideQuest episode one more than last time. But this is
I'm going to confidently say 32.
32.
SideQuest. I
I
think it's
don't
more
know.
like.
Listen.
I think it's more like 8.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
maybe
gonna be close
8.
to 10 almost, you know?
Yeah, it's
Listen,
8 or 9.
But I said it
something
with
like that.
confidence, you know?
You
You're
did.
doing really well
You did.
already, y'all. Good job.
This is SideQuest 32 officially, but part 2 of our SideQuest 4 trophy. Last time we did Trophy Dark. This time we are doing Trophy Gold, which Josh is convincing us is better somehow. So we will see how that goes today. Last time we ran an adventure from Michael Van Vleet, which was a warm and pleasant hum. Today we're going to be running a Heart Hums in Darkness. So we will see how that goes. And I'm kicking it to our game master, who is Josh Domanski.
All right. So first, a point of clarification. I like gold better. I don't think it's necessarily a better game.
Okay, there we go.
Way to backpedal.
There we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. So Trophy Dark is really focused on what it wants to do. You know, you were playing that descent into the forest, and you could, in theory, kind of break it out of the rings and use it as whatnot, because Trophy Dark is sort of just based on Cthulhu Dark. So you can do all the same things if you really want. But I think Trophy Gold opens things up a little bit. You don't always have to play in that type of structure, that descent. You can do a little bit more. But there are some interesting things about it. I'll talk about that, what I kind of mean, in just a minute here. In terms of how the players sort of interact with the system in this case, I really like the hunt roll, which is something I'll describe in just a few minutes. But with that being said, this is a continuation of what we were doing 3 weeks ago, whatever the Trophy Dark session was. I'm going to be sort of talking about things, assuming that folks know what was going on in that last one, and how Trophy Gold is sort of different than Trophy Dark. So rack your memories, see if you remember how to play. Now, Trophy Gold, I think it came out in Codex Gold back when the Gauntlet was doing the Codex magazine. They did it with it was released with a conversion of Tomb of the Serpent Kings, if I remember correctly. And the general idea, at least under my impression, was that Dark was sort of its own thing, its own story game, whereas Gold is meant to take the story games into the OSR effectively, where you could take these adventures, Tomb of the Serpent Kings being the big example there, and break them down in a way that you could play them with Trophy. And so it changes a few things to sort of align itself a little bit more with that style of play. There's a focus more on retrieving actual gold and artifacts. You end up getting what are effectively reaction rolls through the hunt roll. And yeah, you go from there. Your motivations are similar. You're looking for gold. You are adventurers, and so on and so forth. So it's a little more, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But to kind of dive into things proper, Trophy Dark was a game of doomed treasure hunters on what is likely their last expedition. Trophy Gold is a game of desperate treasure hunters. This is more aligned for campaign play, where you are slowly collecting gold and resources in pursuit of some nebulous goal that each of your characters have. Now, making that point. So, if you look at the new Trophy Gold characters you guys have made, what I'll do here is I'll talk a little bit about what makes these characters different. Then we'll have our chance to introduce our characters to each other. Then I'll talk a little bit about the system mechanics itself and how those will affect play going forward. So your Trophy Gold characters, you still have your name, your occupation, your background, and your drive. That's all carried over from Dark. So just as a quick reminder, your name is who you are, your occupation is what you're currently doing on this expedition, your background is what you used to do before you became a treasure hunter, and your drive is the reason that you are on this adventure to begin with. You are in search of gold, and capital G gold. It's sort of an abstraction of individual currencies. Instead of like hordes of 100 gold, you might find an item worth 1 gold. But again, it's sort of more of an abstraction than the literal sense here. The general idea is that you are trying to collect enough gold so that you can store it in your hoard and eventually achieve your goal. This is not something we're going to dive into too deeply in this session here, but it is worth mentioning that that's your overall goal here, the sort of overhanging goal. Your character can achieve their drive if they have 50 gold in their hoard. Now, that is nearly unachievable. You will not get close today, I can guarantee it. But the idea being that if you are unable to do so, your character sort of retires in destitution. At a certain point in time, they have to hang up their gloves and stop being an adventurer, and they never achieve their drive. So you're looking for gold so you can do the thing you're after. Now, beyond that, some of the new things that are included in your character this time are equipment and burdens. So your equipment kind of comes in 2 forms. You have your general equipment. You should start with 3 pieces of backpack equipment. Still, I think you got 6. I'll talk about those bottom 3 in just a second. So your first 3 pieces of backpack equipment, those are the things that you're kind of carrying with you, and you're carrying with your character. The second 3 are these quantum equipment, so to speak. At any point in time, if you think that a piece of equipment that's reasonable for your character have, if you think they have it, you fill one of your backpack slots permanently, and that's the item that you have. And so this is all like basic adventuring gear. The idea is reasonable things like rope, torch, nails, any of that sort of thing. That's what those bottom 3 backpack slots are for. The idea is we just don't know exactly what they are at the start, and we figure that out when you need them.
I'll just erase those. Goodbye bucket, block and tackle, and 60 feet of rope.
Then your equipment will help you. It gives you extra dice on your rolls, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. So beyond that, you have your combat equipment that is primarily weapons and armor. Armor lets you negate damage in combat. You use it effectively once to avoid incoming damage, and then you have to repair it. And combat equipment lets you fight things. And that is one of the ways that Trophy Gold is different than Trophy Dark. You can fight the monsters in this. It is not necessarily advisable, and combat is going to be interesting. I'm very curious on your thoughts when we get there. But your weapons, those are the things you need to defend yourself. Now, those tie into your character's burdens, your weapons and armor. Your burdens represent the upkeep of your weaponry and your armor, the things you need to do to continue to be an adventurer, to need to be an effective adventurer. Let's see, 2 of you guys have 2 burdens, and Stella looks like you have 1 because you have no weapons and armor. I don't know if that's intentional.
Yes, it is.
Sick. Okay. So with your burdens, once you go out in adventure, you need to gain enough gold to equal or exceed your burdens in order to be successful on that journey. If you are unable to find enough gold to meet or exceed your burdens on this adventure, you fail effectively. You come back home, let's say you have no gold, you're done. Your equipment falls into disrepair. You can no longer go out on an adventure. And then again, you retire into destitution. You no longer can achieve your drive. So you're looking for that gold. You need each at least 2. Well, still, you only need 1 because you don't have weapons and armor. But keep that in mind as we're searching here. Um, do, 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 do. Yep, and the other thing that we should be worrying about in this particular instance here is your rituals and your ruin. These work exactly the same as they did in Trophy Dark. Your ruin is the tract of your character sort of on their descent. For every ritual you have, your ruin increases by 1 permanently, and you want to avoid getting to 6 ruin where your character is lost. So each of you have started with a ritual, and these are magic abilities, effectively. They take a little bit of time to cast, but you can use them in a variety of ways. They give you a name, a little sentence description, and we figure out what that means in the moment. So that being said, I think that's it for characters. Do we have any questions on those things before we continue?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
but
maybe.
we'll get there. Yeah.
All right. With that in mind, let's quickly go around the screen and introduce our characters to each other.
Well, I'm Kel, son of Del, or Kel Delson, as he's more typically called. And I am a reformed thug. I was a young ruffian, you see, and I was cast out of my family. And I've taken up, being a sellsword to try to earn back the right to my family name.
What's Kel
Nice.
look like?
Sorry, what'd you say, Josh?
What does Kel look like?
Oh, a raggedy commoner in a beat up light tunic, carrying a rusty shield and a spear. And he looks disheveled in the way of someone who is in fact disheveled. So
Nice.
thank you.
All right.
Nice.
I am playing Fionn. She is a snake, occupation-wise. Her background is grounded sailor, and her drive is to repay the losses, repay your losses to the Southern Pass Company. So I imagine that she was on she was piloting a wrecked ship, or she piloted a ship that was wrecked, and as such is indebted to the company for damaging company property or something to that effect. And yeah, I think that she's got a very obvious nose that was broken and didn't heal fully straight. And she's just kind of got and I think she has sullen eyes. I think that's what she looks like.
Okay.
So I'm playing Valen. Valen is a spider. That is my occupation. My background is a traitorous cup bearer. And my drive is to find the artifact that proves the king's true nature. So I feel like I was brought up in the royal household as the cupbearer, and by being close to the king. For those who don't know what cupbearer is, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but this is how I read cupbearer. I was basically the food tester. I poured the king's wine and didn't let anyone fuck with the king's wine to make sure it didn't get poisoned and stuff. So I was very close to the king all the time. I heard when the king would mumble drunkenly and pinch wenches and all that kind of stuff. And I came to the conclusion that the king is a piece of shit. And I set out to prove that. And at one point, tried to use my cupbearing position to handle the problem, was caught, was cast out, and now I'm on a quest to prove that I was right and that the king is not a good person.
A noble pursuit. Now, one more thing on characters. It's worth mentioning that you will have the ability to find many things over the course of this adventure. Some of them might be gold, as gold pieces. You might also find jewelry that is just considered gold, or you might find things that have value that extend beyond their monetary value. So if you find a jewel-studded sword that might be worth 3 gold to the right buyer, but it also is a sword, so you can use it to stab things. So on your character sheet, you have a little slot towards the bottom that is for found equipment. When you're on your adventure and you pick up things that aren't immediately converted to gold that you think are sort of utilitarian in nature, add them to your found equipment there. If it is a piece of combat equipment, let's say it's an armor or weapons, if I remember correctly, it does not increase your burden until you have returned to camp. And then at that point, if you choose to formally convert it and continue using it on your adventure, that's when you have to worry about the burdens in that regard. So worry about your 2 starting burden, and we'll go from there. Now, in terms of mechanics, so I'm not going to describe combat yet. Combat we're going to do in the moment because I think it's going to be a little, not confusing, but something that is going to cause question. But I will talk about the other things that will counter a little bit first. So first and foremost, Trophy Gold is not done in the 5-ring format of Trophy Dark. I have given you guys a little flow chart that came with the adventure. I just made it transparent. I don't know if you guys still have that because it was a couple weeks ago.
Do you want me to pop that up?
Sure. I mean, that's something that we can leave up the entire time, more or less, if you so choose. But this is effectively the map of the adventure. The rooms flow into each other. They're not necessarily rooms. They are set pieces, so to speak. And we know as players that they're connected, but you will still need to find those connections in character. So again, we might know that there's a way to get from one place to the next, but if you are unable to find it, then we can't assume that your characters also know it. So keep that in mind as we go along. So things are a little more open. We have the option to kind of go places here. And the incursion structure, the way I like to describe it is it's more of a skeletal framework rather than sort of the prescriptive path. I'm given a ton of pieces. And through play, through the context of play, we assemble those pieces into the story that we tell sort of collectively here. So things are a little free form. Things are a little list-like in nature. But as we go along and play, I'll be pulling things in from the adventure itself. And then we'll see where it goes. With that in mind, just like a Trophy Dark, you guys have the risk roll. But in Trophy Dark, the risk roll was sort of the thing that drove action. That was the thing your characters are using most. That was the time you roll the dice the most. But that's not really the case here. You still use the risk roll when you're trying to do something, difficult or dangerous or casting a ritual or whatnot. And we'll cover that when it comes up. But the thing that primarily drives play in Trophy Dark is the hunt roll. Now, the way I described it previously is this is sort of like a player-facing reaction roll, I think is the best way to do it, but it is more of like a narrative generator on the grand scheme of things here. So this is when you ask questions about the world or explore your environment, or you're trying to achieve some particular goal here. That's when we make the hunt roll. Now, this works similar to a risk roll, but I'm pretty sure we're just using a light die here. Bad things can happen as the result of the hunt roll, but it's more of a situation where the hunt roll will roll into the risk roll, and that's what causes ruin rather than the hunt roll causing ruin directly, if that makes sense. So again, we're using 2d6 here. The first, unlike the risk roll, you gain a die simply by asking the question or exploring the world. So you gain your first die there. For the second die, if you have a skill or piece of equipment that makes whatever thing you're trying to do a little easier, you can gain that second die. And that's where that sort of quantum equipment comes into play. If there is a particular hunt roll that you want to be more successful for whatever reason, you can say, hey, I've got this spyglass in my bag that's going to help me look down the path and potentially find something useful there. So you mark that on your character sheet, and then you can get that second die. With that in mind, you roll your 2d6. We're looking for the highest of those two. If it's a 6, you gain a hunt token, and generally you find what you're looking to achieve, or you explore the location without inherent issue. I'll talk about hunt tokens in a second too. If it's a 4 to 5, you gain a hunt token again, but you also encounter something terrible. Now, encounter something terrible is a little melodramatic, all things considered. You encounter something interesting on hunt roll. The situation changes in some matter. Generally speaking, that's probably going to be something pretty bad, but it's not inherently like a combat scenario. You might find like bones of an old adventurer that died 100 years ago or something of the sort. That is terrible in its own sense, but that's going to not really impact your character in a large manner. You also might find a ferocious creature that wants to rip your face off. So it's kind of dependent on the context of the situation and when that's rolled. Now, if you roll a 2 or 3 on the hunt roll, you just encounter something terrible. And if you roll a 1 on that hunt roll, you lose your hunt tokens, and you also encounter something terrible. And typically this is something like especially bad that happens if your highest is a 1. Now, the hunt tokens are, I would say, probably one of the more contentious aspect of the system. They are a meta currency. And folks have a lot of opinions on meta currencies. So I think it works here because the given goal that your characters have. But hunt tokens give you a little bit of narrative control. In the most basic form, the hunt tokens, you can spend 1 token to find a piece of gold or, something worth 1 gold. Now, the easy situation here to kind of describe what I mean by this is, let's say you're exploring a farmhouse and you find that the farmer's bed is lying in some corner there, and you flip the mattress hoping to find some piece of gold that's hidden behind it or the stash that the farmer has hidden. Now, I might say, hey, nothing is there. Maybe it's not written in the incursion. Maybe I just don't think it's appropriate to find it in the moment. But you can go, hey, I've got this hunt token. I'm going to spend this to find something underneath that hunter's or the farmer's mattress. And so I pull out a piece of equipment. So I'd say, okay, maybe inside the mattress is a stash of some copper coins worth about a gold piece, something like that. So you get a little bit of control just by doing that. And you can use that to direct your character towards their focus and their drive. If you are desperate to meet your burdens, you can decide when you find gold. With that in mind, you can also find gold just looking around, primarily through the hunt roll or looking in the right place. So it's not only through hunt tokens that you can find gold, but they just make it especially useful. Now, in the incursion, I'm going to be giving you guys set goals. These are things that sort of focus our attention on a particular general goal. So if we're in that farmhouse, the set goal might be find the farmer's hidden secret. So this is something that your characters might not know, but we as players know, and we're trying to sort of direct our attention to figure out what the point of this little set piece is. So if you want to achieve that set goal, and let's say you're not having a ton of luck finding it sort of organically, you can spend a collective 3 tokens between, all players there to just sort of automatically achieve that set goal. So if you want to move on, or if you think it's advantageous for your character to quickly conclude a given area, spend those tokens. We kind of justify it. Maybe you stumble across a hatch in the floor that leads into the hidden basement or something like that, but we figure that out in the moment what it means. But you're able to sort of push forward if you are no longer interested in pursuing a given area. So keep that in mind. You can find gold, or you can move the story forward if you are getting hung up in a particular area. Now, keep in mind when we do risk rolls. You're also going to have your opportunity to do your devil's bargains, just like we were doing in Trophy Dark. And you still have the slew of options available to you, like the contest roll, the help roll, so on and so forth. You can also use your rituals in combat when we get there, but we will talk about that when it comes up. That is sort of the long and short of it. There's more that we can talk about, but I don't think it's worth diving into too deep at the start. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you have any questions before we go on?
No, I think I get it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight we will be playing Heart Hums in Darkness by Michael Van Vleet. This is another one that's in the Trophy Gold core book here, along with a bunch of other incursions for the system. This is one that directly links to the events that happened in our Trophy Dark session a few weeks ago. Now, many wonders lurk in the Coldor forest, but few evoke such skin-crawling terror as the humming woods, an ominous bee-filled patch of wild ruled over by a six-legged mother of millions. We know this from our Trophy Dark session, but your characters might not outside of the rumors. Now, this six-legged mother of millions is efficient and brutal as any monarch. She rules over her buzzing, monstrous empire from the six-form heart, a fortified and labyrinthian hive hidden in an enormous cluster of towering waxen peaks. Or at least she did. Some months back, mountains of black smoke drifted out of those dark woods, arcing towards the south. It is said that some brave or foolish souls must have successfully journeyed into the heart itself and set fire that even 1,000 of chitinous bodies couldn't smother. A blackened, useless carpet of dead bees littered the charred woods as evidence. And we just so happen to know the cause of that fire. Now, for a time, the woods were still. The near constant hum in their vicinity was replaced by a silence. But then last month, refugees from the town of 𝗧𝗧𝗪 began arriving at the gates of Fort Durham, with tales of bees invading their subterranean homes, swarming and stinging, driving every human out. The respite is over. The rumors say that the six-form heart is reborn, that the mother of millions must have resumed her reign. And they say she is down somewhere in the dim underground passages of 𝗧𝗪𝗪, and something must be done. Fort Durhan's ability to sustain the local population is at its breaking point. Food and supplies are already tight, but now that the fort has accommodated refugees from 𝗧𝗪𝗪, tensions are high and the locals are angry. Tents have sprung up in public common areas and in alleys that previously made for convenient shortcuts or intimate meeting spaces out of public sight. One can't walk from one's quarters to the public baths without threading through a maze of outstretched and begging hands. The three of you, you party of treasure hunters, you've been hired by 𝗧𝗪 Ogledd, first protector of the King's Guard in Fort Durham. Your mission? Do what you do best. Slip into hostile territory, take note of hazards and defenses, and report back. Not only will a handsome reward await you when you return, but you've been provided a written proclamation granting you right of salvage for any abandoned valuables you may come across in fulfillment of your scouting duties. Ready yourself. Follow the hum into the darkness. Now, a theme for this adventure is infiltration and mimicry. And a general content warning. body horror, confined spaces, graphic violence, harm to animals, insects and spiders, Anakins, and religion. We begin on the path, heading towards Wellslode. In our first box, for those looking at our little flowchart map, we're going to start in who goes there and move forward from there.
Mm.
I put a little. There's a little B that's going to mark on the map for those watching where we're at. This little
Where
buddy
we're gonna
right here.
be.
Yeah,
That B marks
where we be. Yeah.
Who bees there? Very slick wordplay right there. You might have not
that
noticed
was
it.
good. That was a good addition,
Yeah.
honestly. We should have
Yeah.
started with that.
Yeah, we should have.
It was a pun-free zone.
What, you're on the
Absolutely
wrong show.
not. Absolutely not.
All right, so the goalies, before we dive in proper, we're going to do this first set that we have here, maybe the second one. We'll see how kind of far we get, then we'll do a quick break and then return to finish the rest. This is, Trophy Dark tends to take a little bit of time, or Trophy Gold, to get through each of the sets here. Keep that in mind as we're going throughout. We're going to try and keep the same time frame as we had last time. And your goal is mainly to find enough gold to retrieve your burdens, or to exceed your burdens. So we don't have to like 100% this dungeon, but keep in mind the pace as we move forward. We can complete this today as long as we keep that in mind.
I think historically with our record, it's more likely that we all die than we complete a dungeon. So whatever.
That is okay. These characters do not need to survive, I suppose.
Just like real life.
Fair. All right, the first set. The road out of town is littered with rotten food, trampled books, broken jewelry, all presumably dropped in better condition by villagers eager to escape. Wellslode is easy to see from afar. Enormous bellows that push air into its subterranean depths jut to the sky, opening and closing like the wet wings of a butterfly just out of its cocoon. That is how you know you're close. You hear the noise of the bellows. You can see them extending above the tree line, opening and closing. Your set goal: find an entrance to Wellslode's underground city spaces.
Mm.
Now, before we dive in proper, let's do an establishing question. This is for all of you. When people talk about the citizens of the partially underground city of Wellslode, how do they describe their temperament? And what unusual customs were practiced there before the bees arrived and the townsfolk were driven out?
I think they're described as slimy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go shady, which I think kind of gets the same kind of vibe.
I was gonna say ornery.
Ooh.
All right.
Yeah. That was my kind of thought.
We all decided they're bad. They're terrible people that we don't want to be around instantly. All right.
All right, what about their unusual customs that were practiced? What weird rumors have you heard?
Oh, they don't wear shoes in the house.
How is that unusual? Why would you wear shoes in your house?
It's not.
Leave the outside, people.
I'm forgetting what the term is, but because I know polygamy is one husband, multiple wives, but like the opposite of that.
Ooh.
I'm sure someone in the Twitch chat would it be polyandry? Yeah, I think it's polyandry, but the Twitch chat canon will correct me, I presume, or YouTube comments.
Polyandry. Yep.
Yeah.
It's polygamy and polyandry.
Polyandry. Yeah.
There we go. So they practice polyandry.
Right.
Dope.
That's canon. Okay.
Yeah. And anyone else have a suggestion for weird customs?
I think that's a
Sounds good to
great
me.
one.
Yeah.
These are the things you've heard about this place now. Valen, before you left Fort Durham, a refugee begged you to look for someone they haven't seen since they fled 𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗣𝗛𝗚. Who was it, and how will you know if you see them?
A refugee asked me before I left to find somebody.
Mhm.
God, I'm thinking of this shady polyandrous place and what refugee would be seeking somebody. I'm gonna say that the refugee was looking for a boyfriend, ex-boyfriend maybe. It's complicated. And I will know
Former
them.
lover.
Former, current, late at night, whatever. And I will know them because they have a scar on their right cheek that goes down across their chin. You can see it.
Good. Okay. So we find the three of you on this journey. Now, 𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗣𝗛𝗚 isn't quite in the Caldor Forest, at least not as deep as the other bits of ruin you might find. It is a functioning town. It's not necessarily inside the safety of the kingdom and what Fort Durin protects, but it is a safe enough journey there at the very least. It doesn't take all that long. You can make it on foot. Now, as you are on the approach, you haven't quite seen 𝗧𝗥𝗢𝗣𝗛𝗚 itself yet. You hear the bellows, you see the bellows extending above the trees, as we've established, but you haven't quite broken out into where the city is itself. It's still a little ways off, but there is that trail of food, carts that are turned over, broken bits and bobs. You see abandoned furniture that people tried to drag along with them before leaving it here. This is all fairly recent. You also see a body sitting against a tree, wrapped in a very fine blanket. Appears to be an elderly individual, now slumped over.
I think I want to run his pockets.
You want to run his pockets?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, diverging from the path, because you run off the tree, set off a little ways away, trampling through a bit of grass. You notice the person because of that colorful blanket that they have wrapped around themselves. That's what caught your eye. But I need you to make our first hunt roll.
Hunter's making the hunt roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So D6 just for exploring, right?
Yes, you get your D6 just for exploring and asking questions, and you get a second light die if you think you have a piece of equipment or a skill that will help you in rooting around their pockets.
I don't know of any equipment that would help with that.
One of those like claws where you squeeze here and it pinches there. You know?
Oh, you know what? He actually has a metal detector. Yeah. One of the squeezy claws. That's pretty good. I don't think I have any equipment, and I definitely don't have any skills.
Okay. So just give me that 1d6.
I don't get like a devil's bargain or anything for this one.
No, this is the hunt roll, not
Okay,
the
cool.
risk roll. We're exploring the world here.
We can do this. We can't do this.
It's a 3 for those in podcast land.
All right. right. Now, a 3 is you encounter something terrible.
Is it a dead body?
Quite the opposite. As you approach, you're sneaking through the glass. Now, we have the 3 of you been traveling together for some time. We know that you are an adventuring party of some sort of renown to have been asked to do this. At least you are known. This isn't your first adventure. That's what we can say at the very least. Now, Hale goes running off into the grass, chasing after a body and as a tree. And you see them get closer, and they go to reach out to grab at whatever spoils may be left. Phelan, Fionn, what are you doing?
I think that I think I'm tisking because I'm like a superstitious sailor, and I'm just like something bad's gonna happen to that boy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll just watch. So when I look at our party makeup, it seems that we got the spider, who is little sneaky shady person. We got the snake, who seems like that might be a little sneaky shady person, and then we got the reformed thug here. So I feel like
dumbass.
Yeah, that's what I feel. So I'm just gonna watch our certified dumbass do some certified dumbassness, and I'm gonna like cross my arms and like snicker towards Fionn, just like, here we go again.
Yep, we're just being catty old women, basically.
Yes, Wallace and Gromit out here. No, who are the old Muppets?
Staldorf and Walden.
Yes, not Wallace and Gromit.
You
We
were
are not
ready for that one.
Oh, because they're my inspiration. They're my North Star.
Statler and Waldorf.
And also one
thank
time
you.
I accidentally called them. That was Statler and Waldorf. Yeah. And one time I accidentally called them Stalin because I got like wires crossed. So I made sure that I wouldn't do it again. But I've got my wires crossed nonetheless. But I didn't call them Stalin. So that's good.
We are not a cheese lover and a dog. We are 2 old catty people.
Now, Cal crept through the grass here. It's probably summer at this point. It's been some months since the spring where the fires raged in the woods. The grass isn't moist or anything. It's probably tall, at the very least, off the trodden path. So you snaked your way over there and you get yourself up to that body. And again, they're wrapped in this very fine blanket. But sitting on their lap, you see a little like tin. Looks like an easy prize. Reach down your hand to grab it. And you hear a sharp intake from the body as the hand of this wizened old man reaches out, grabs onto your wrist. What do you do?
Oh, I'm sorry, grandfather. I didn't mean to wake you.
Their bloodshot eyes kind of flick open. And they are old. They are wizened, but they look malnourished. Their lips are chapped. Their voice is hoarse. And you hear words press past the lips. Do you have any food or water?
Oh, grandfather, I'm sorry. I don't.
Mm.
At least escort me to safety. I fear I will not survive another night out here in the cold.
Are we going towards safety right now? Oh. Oh, yeah, surely. Right here. And I'll go get my 2 compadres and we'll come back for you.
Please, I beg of you.
Absolutely. I'm not lying at all.
And the hand is like iron gripped. Despite their weak disposition, they have a fierce grip around your wrist at the moment.
Grandfather, listen, I need you to let go of me, or I'm going to hit you with the bezel of my shield.
And those bloodshot eyes, they're sort of fogged and they're not really focused, but they glance up and meet your face. And you feel the grip lessen on your wrist, enough for you to retch it away.
Right. I run off.
Trudge back through the grass towards your compatriots. What do you guys do?
It doesn't matter. Let's go.
I think told you it's not worth messing with the dead. Although
Oh, yeah, he's definitely dead too.
Can we see him moving over there?
That is a good question. For Valen specifically, you already have the skill in sort of surprise and traps. I think you've got the sharp eye to have caught some of the movement. The old man wasn't moving much. It would have just been like a quick grab of the wrist. You wouldn't have been close enough to hear the whispering words, but you did see a little bit of that movement.
So I'll like glance over Kel's shoulder and just be like, dead enough. Let's go.
So push further forward. Down further on the road, as you get ever closer, you hear the breath of the bellows, the just ever present. But as you get closer, you swear hear the hum underneath it, especially in those moments when the air is expelled and there's just a pause before the breath picks back up again. But it could be your fears at what lies below. Now, as you approach, you see Wellslode is mostly underground, but not entirely. There are various buildings and farmland and shops that kind of exist above the ground to support what lies beneath and to cater to travelers who are kind of coming through the region. Most of these travelers aren't going to go underground for their stay, so there might be a couple of inns and shops up top just to kind of catch passers through basic supplies and things. You see those giant bellows still kind of in the distance, but announcing that you've arrived. They are large. They are made of some, has to be like leathery material. They're light in color, maybe lambskin or what have you, all strung together into these massive, sort of triangular shapes that expand and contrast. But you also see, like I said, the shops. There are all the signs of chaos around here. There's a wagon that has been turned over on its side, spilling its goods out into the street here that now sort of rot in decay. There's also a shop. You can see from the sign, this is for a cheesemonger. The windows of the store, as you look, have been packed with dirt from the inside. Now, around the doorway, there are a group of what appear to be militia members. There seems to be some kind of plug over the door. It's not wood. It's some other material that has impeded the way into this cheesemonger shop. And you see that the militia members are kind of sitting around poking at whatever this plug is, scraping away at it. With that in mind, what do you guys do?
That's 100% mud wasps. Goddamn. Oh, that is.
I did the last thing, so
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like just hail myself over to the militia, make it so we're not exactly sneaking up on them or anything. Just making sure that our entrance is not a shock to the armed people.
So you begin to walk towards them. You announce your presence. Fionn, have you been in Wellslode before? Or do you know somebody who's been here?
I don't think I've been here before. I've mostly been like about the seas and stuff, and this is fairly inland. So these are, it'd be very, very odd if I saw a familiar face.
Fair enough. Valen, Kel, have you been here before? Do you know anybody who's been here before?
Yeah, I think my the aunt of my aunt of the family I'm trying to reclaim my name from had a place out here at one point in time.
Okay. From the stories you've told, passed down from your aunt or cousin, from person to person, what colors are the militia supposed to be wearing? What does their banner look like?
It's vermilion and sage, and it depicts or like you said, we're fairly inland, so let's say a deer, a stag.
Convenient enough. These militia members, there's 3 of them, just as there are 3 of you. They wear the vermilion and the sage arms of the militia members here, and you can see they are emblazoned with that deer symbol. No. As you approach, what do you say? How do you get their attention?
I think specifically, I'm gonna. I think I'll bring up the fact that we are. Like, what was the official title of the person who gave us salvage rights? Was it captain?
First protector of the King's Guard in Port Durham.
We're gonna be like, we're gonna announce ourselves as members of the King's Guard.
So you're gonna say you're members of the King's Guard?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we get too deep, I do need you to make a hunt roll for me.
Alrighty. Sounds fine by me. So I got that base D6. And I do have charm.
You have charm, trickery, and performance. I think we're good here for that second die. So.
Yeah. I'm quite a schmoozer. I'm quite likable.
So do you have no weapons and stuff because you're just a liar? Like
no, I'm just so likable,
Fair.
I know my way to avoid notice, that kind of stuff. And wait, there we go. 5. Five and a 2. Yeah.
All right, 5. So you gain a hunt token. Mark that on your character sheet.
Aye.
You encounter something terrible. As you approach, you announce yourself as members of the King's Guard. Fionn, you in front. Valen, Kel, kind of flanking. The 3 guards turn. Again, you see a larger symbol of that deer on their front side here. Maybe one of them is carrying the banner itself. The one in front, they're arranged in a triangular form, sort of like you as you approach. The one in front simply says, King's Guard.
King's Guard indeed. Sent here on orders of the first protectorate.
Here on orders. Sorry, my question. Here on orders?
Here on orders.
They sort of nod. Stare at you.
We're gonna keep staring back. We're gonna let the silence fill the air.
They sit there, still. They don't move. They simply stare into your eyes, waiting for something to happen.
We're specifically sent here to salvage what we can, as well as see if there's anyone who we could still provide assistance to.
Provide assistance. Kingsguard.
Yeah.
They kind of nod.
Yeah, they don't seem totally here.
That's when you notice. That one on the right-hand side. They look awful familiar. At this point, you were kind of close to them. Or at least they've shifted forward, so they're within a few paces of you. And that guard. It's weird that you didn't notice it before. They don't look much like a guard. The one on the right does not have the vermilion and sage armor. They look like a ragged commoner. Sort of like a green shirt pulled on, dark pants, worn boots.
Is their hair blonde and disheveled?
Blonde and disheveled hair.
That's Kel, isn't it?
Seems to be. And they stand right in front of Kel. It's a little hard to tell who's who.
Hey.
Hunter, I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah, sure. I'd do anything.
You're going to respond on behalf of both versions of these characters, both you and this new you that stands before you.
You and you too.
Yeah, me and me. Yeah, you got it.
All right, here now, staring at this situation, you recognize the face of your compatriot and the face of your compatriot. What do you guys do?
That was me.
I'd taken a notice to that, Kel. I'd taken a notice to that. I'm gonna point specifically to the commoner and ask, "What's your name?"
That's all you, Hunter.
Oh, that's still okay. That's
Oh
the
yeah,
other
you're playing both here.
I'm Kel Delson.
Kel of Delson. Well, Kel, and I'm going to turn to the Kel that traveled with us. Yeah, did you travel with us?
What is going on? I'm
a-
Kel Delson.
I'm gonna turn to Valen and ask you ever seen anything like this?
Well, it's a bit interesting. They both you there. I point to the newer, I guess, Kel. You claim to be Kel Delson?
I'm Kel Delson.
And you, other one, you, who are you?
I'm Kel Delson.
You hear the other two guards. Kel Delson. They kind of point. Both of them point to a different one.
What do the other guards look like?
Generic white dudes.
Just
I'd
dudes.
say, one probably has a beard. They both of them would have helmets kind of crammed onto their head in some manner that it doesn't necessarily obscure their features, but it doesn't help either.
Do they seem confused by this too?
Not to you, at least.
Let's see. I'm actually looking through. I'm gonna say, as part of the equipment I have some face paint. And I am gonna turn to the original Cal, and I'm going to take a little bit of that face paint and just say, "This is to tell you apart." I'm gonna put like a line, like a bright blue blob, like on your left cheek, I guess, or right cheek, one of the cheeks. Just
How do you know which one's the real one?
The real one will have the face paint. The fake one won't have.
Before you put the face paint on.
Because the one I was standing closest to is the original one. Because I was in front, so they would have had to pass behind me, I think.
You reach out and swipe of face paint. As you flick back, your eyes land on the other cow. There's a stripe of face paint on their face.
Oh, fucking hell. Jesus.
Can I just try to stab the other me?
You gotta go for
Which
it.
one? Which one is you?
Well, I'm me, and that's the one thing I'm sure about.
But you're also me.
I can for certain say that I am I, and I am the concept of myself.
Wait,
so
then
one of
who's
you is going to stab the other one of you.
Yes.
All right. You watch as one of the Kells takes out their weapon. What do you have for your weapon?
I have a spear. I have a hunting spear.
You have a hunting spear. One of the Kells kind of levels their spear and goes to jam it into the other one.
As is right and proper when you
As
find
is right and proper. Yeah. Now, first, Phelan, Fionn, do you join in on this as you watch as one of the Kells begins to aggravate?
I think I'm a little bit shocked at first, so I don't take an initial action.
You don't take an initial action, okay.
Yeah. Valen, what of you?
No, I watch and quite intrigued, actually.
Now,
we only need one of them.
Yeah. To stab the other Cal, the two guards take notice and begin to kind of move in response. We're going to do our combat roll. This will only be with one of the Kells to start, and we will deal with Phelan and Fionn when it comes time to it. Now, combat is kind of interesting in Trophy Gold here. I'm going to do my best to explain this. This is going to take a little bit of trial and error because it's sort of different than anything I've encountered at the very least. Under normal circumstances, you combine your efforts with fellow treasure hunters, but since this is only Kell, we'll only be dealing with them at the first start of it here. I need you to explain how you expose yourself to injury and then roll a light die for me.
So as I'm going for the stab with my spear, I don't like shrug off my shield from my back and like take it up. So I'm unshielded as I'm going in for this stab.
Unshielded. All right, roll one light die for me to start.
I can't add any of my die from my skills.
Not yet.
Okay, that's fair. I get it. Everyone hates me. That's good.
The two.
A 2.
Big money moves.
Yep, we're doing great.
What this represents is your character's weak point. This is a representation of the risks you are taking to face this entity that lies before you. Remember that number, that 2. Now, for the actual combat, we'll be using dark die. We only need dark die for this, so we don't need to worry about doing anything screwy with the little dice bot that we have here. You gather 1 dark die for each character involved in the attack on your end, at the very least. So we start with 1, because there was only Kel in this fight. Now, creatures that you encounter have what's called endurance. This is the number that you need to meet or exceed with your combat roll here in order to defeat the monster. Endurance is typically range between 2 and 10. I will tell you at the start, the endurance for this trio of characters you are now engaging in combat with is a 6. So you start combat with just your die because you're the only one in the fight. You need to roll a 6 in order to achieve success at this combat.
Good.
In subsequent rounds, we will be adding additional die into this pool. And we will always be taking the 2 highest. If Fionn and Valen join in, they add a die to the pool as well. And again, we take the top 2 out of this. There's only 1 roll per round, per group. Now, if any of these die equal your weak point, your ruin increases by 1 by each die that matches the weak point. The more that join the combat, the longer combat continues, the more likely it is that one of the die is going to land on your weak point and your ruin will increase. That is the damage you take in combat. For now, the chance is low. It's 1 in 6. The same for defeating these 3 that lie before you. After this round, if your 2 die are less than the monster's endurance and you wish to continue the attack, you add another dark die to the pool and re-roll. So every round, 1 more die is added, regardless of the number of combatants. So for this first one, we simply roll 1d6. The first round of combat. That is a 1.
I rolled a 1.
That is not equal to your weak point, and that is not enough to exceed the endurance of these entities that lie before you. So describe the situation. Maybe there are minor blows that are exchanged, but nothing substantive to hurt you or the other Kel. So what are you doing?
I go in with my spear in hand and I kind of like long jab. And I figure, does the other Kel have the same equipment as me?
Yeah, and they do the same thing.
Yeah, cool. And we both whiff, you know?
So you go for the long jab, and it's in the turn of the spear that it passes by the both of you. Now you see the other 2, the guards have sort of rushed in. They're starting to draw swords. One has dropped the banner onto the ground, and it has made the situation a little chaotic. You've got both Kells and the guards now in here. The guards don't seem to be doing any damage, but they are kind of getting in the way of this conflict and trying to stop it. With that in mind, we move into the second round. Fionn, Valen, do you join or do you continue to step back and let the fray continue?
I think I might try and join. At this point, I am gonna try and join in. But I don't. I'm worried that I don't know what I would do exactly. But I got to do something.
You just got to hit the fake one, you know?
Well, that's the problem.
It's that one. They both point. It's like the Spider-Man meme, you know?
All right. So how do you expose yourself to damage or harm?
To harm, at least. I'm going to say I get close to the frenzy of where the spears are flying. Just and I am unarmored and all that, so it's
All
just.
right. So you're at risk of pointy damage. Okay, so I need you to roll a light die. This is going to be your weak point.
Of course, of course.
So you enter the fray.
That's a 1.
All right. How about Valen? Do you enter the fray or do you continue to watch?
I'm gonna continue to watch this round and see what happens, and I'll step in on the next one.
Okay.
Maybe.
No. Since Fionn just entered the fray, Stella, I'm going to have you make the roll for this combat situation. Like I said, it's only 1 per group. There are 2 of you in here, so you gain 2 dark die to start, and it is the second round, so we added additional die to the pool. So 3d6, and we're adding the highest 2.
All right. That is, if we're adding the highest 2, then that is 5.
That is 5, but more importantly, we have landed on a 2 and a 1. That is weak points for both Kel and Fionn.
This is true. This is true.
So, as you enter the fray, we'll start with Kel, or the Kels, plural. What are you doing?
I'm hitting him again. I'm going for another I think I went for the stab and then I pull back and I'm gonna swing up the butt of the spear and try to like chin smack the other Kel.
So you whiff the stab and then your immediate response, you go bow staff up and you hear the crack as both ends of these spears just bang and bop into each other. So you smack, your teeth get jutted into the top of your skull. You feel the reverberation. Your ruin increases by 1. Fionn, what are you doing as you sort of enter the fray here?
I think the way I see it, as like the spears go, they like as like the spears are kind of a little bit out of control considering they've both simultaneously been hit, and I think that maybe one of the spears ends up like maybe slicing me across like the forehead or something.
Nice. All right. So your ruin increases as you get nicked by the spear. You're trying to like going in there and being passive, attempting to sort out the mess, and you just get smacked by the tip of a spear, drawing blood, and you can feel it kind of welling up at where the line drew across your forehead.
Yeah.
So that shifts us into round 3. Valen, you've seen the fray here. You hear the crack of the wood as the base of the spear hits the Kels and the blood is drawn from Fionn. Do you continue to observe?
No, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do a little something.
All right, so you enter the fray. I need you to tell me how you expose yourself to harm, and then roll your weak point.
I think I've been kind of just staying out of view, like I'm a sneaky boy. I went sneaky, and I think like I'm not armored really or anything like that. I feel like my guy is a little bit older. I think I just kind of like enter the zone really unarmored, and that kind of like leaves me open to harm.
So you're just diving into the fray, attempting to aid.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be preparing like something to do when I can. And I think that like taking like focus off of that and like, I have to take my eyes away from what's happening to do that thing. So I think I'm just kind of like not able to keep an eye on things. So that'll leave me kind of open.
Okay. Give me that light die roll for your weak point.
Let's see what we got here. Let's do just a D6.
5. Okay.
5.
Now, since Valen is entering the combat, I will let you make the combat roll for this round. There are 3 die for the 3 of you in here. It is the 3rd round, so there are 3 die as well. So we have 6 dark die that we roll. We take the highest 2.
I roll 6 dark die, hoping not to hit a 5, 2, or a 1, and trying to get the highest 2 to be greater than 6, which is the endurance of the bad guys.
Correct.
Dope. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 d6. I'm rolling.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Let's go. 2 6s.
The
all right.
highest is a 6 and a 5.
All right, so we did get the 6, so you are able to defeat them. We will talk about that in a minute here.
And there's
But
a 5 and a 2.
We have a 5 and a 2. That means Kel and Valen, you take another point of ruin.
I think this
No.
was mental for Kel. I think just the like mental of having to fight myself and also kind of losing against myself. It's really shaken him, you know?
Let's start with Kel then. What do you do? How do you gain that wound?
I think after taking that crack to the chin and then looking back at the like reflection of myself, like the surreal oddity of this encounter in this moment to a person who's fairly grounded in the way that they think and live, it just shakes them in like a meaningful way.
The profound realization then that harms you. Okay.
Yeah.
You are still in a fight, so things are getting rough, but it is your mind that is beginning to erode as you're fighting yourself in the middle of a fight. All right, so how about Fionn? What are you doing here? And this is our last round. We are defeating these creatures here, so feel free to get creative with how that's going on.
I think that I think what I do is I just madly tackle one of the cows, you know, because the two cows have been locked in perfect combat, you know? So you know, being able to like, well, no, you have been, because you've been like matrixing out of each other's way before, like then doing the exact same counter move and hitting each other. Like it has been perfect unison. So if I'm able to like throw off one of them, the other one should get an advantage of some sort, you know? Because even though you've been like, you've been messing up by making the exact same decisions, but if one version of you can't make the same decision, you know, the other one might have an advantage.
Let's hope you pick correctly then. As you run forward,
you know.
And I'll slam into one of the cows who cracks onto the ground. Now, Valen, take us home. How do you end the combat?
Well, what I was going to do, I have. So Fionn put one of them on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the cows were just kind of like standing in existential crisis. Fionn runs in and slams into one of the cows, knocking them to the ground. There are still those two guards up who are kind of like jockeying for position, holding their swords out, trying to do something.
Well, I guess what took my eyes away for a moment was me loading a dart into my assassin's blowgun. And I was just gonna pick a Kel. I don't care. We just need one. But as Fionn crashes into one and puts it down, the other two guards are jockeying position. I think I change my aim and fire into one of the guards' necks. But the other one that I guess lost sight on when I was loading kind of hits me while I fire it. I do hit one of the guards, but I take a strike, an accidental kind of flail from the other one. But then I guess that guard sees both Kel on the ground and his buddy on the ground, and then sees me, you know, kind of like, what the fuck, you know, as he hits me, and I like tuck my blowgun away.
Now, combat is over. The situation is starting to settle. That other guard that was not hit with the blowgun just slowly starts backing away, staring at you, drifting back towards the bellows in this case. The situation has calmed. We have one Kel on the ground. We have one Kel standing. We have a guard that has collapsed to the ground with a dart in its neck. The three of you suffering from wounds in some regard. What do you do?
I'm gonna go from like a direct tackled thing on this Kel that I've got to like kind of sitting on his chest nightmare style. You know that painting?
No. What painting?
The nightmare. It's like this weird kind of like ape bat thing that's like basically a lot of people are just like, oh, that's a sleep paralysis demon on account of the fact that that's a sleep paralysis demon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
You can learn so much about art history here.
So you are the demon on top of this Kel. Okay, so you got up and sipped up. The Kel who was standing, what are you doing?
I think Kel is just like, he's wiping the dust off of him. He's like feeling his chin. He's like, it's like, oh my God, that was weird.
I think, like I said, I sneakily shot that dart. The Kel's down, Kel's up, guards kind of fleeing. I want to, I guess, go over and like retrieve my dart from the other guard's neck to kind of keep the way I did what I did, surreptitious, I guess.
Easy enough. All right, you reach down and pull out the dart. Slide that back into your inventory. Now, you have a dead guard. You have a seemingly unconscious Kel. You have a very conscious Kel. You have a guard that has disappeared now. And a cheesemonger shop with a seal in the door.
I think for good measure, I might stab that Kel on the ground.
What is your goal here? You're just trying to kill them?
There can't be two of me. That's unnatural. Like, this is inherently like an evil thing, If you ever see if you ever see your doppelganger, kill it before it kills you,
All right, I'm gonna need you to make a hunt roll.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll make a hunt roll.
So it's one light die for simply attempting the act, and another light die for using a tool or piece of equipment to achieve it. You are using your spear. I count that as a tool. So go ahead and roll 2d6 and let me know the highest.
Highest was a 6.
Highest was a 6. You gain a hunt token simply for achieving the action, and you shunt the spear into the torso.
Does blood come out?
Does not bleed.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank God I chose the right one.
When I stab into it, what does it feel like? Does it feel like stabbing into a person or a block of dirt? Or...
kind of like ballistics gel.
Interesting.
It is resistant. It feels like you're stabbing a person, but there's no blood pouring out of the wound, for whatever that means.
I look at him like, hey, the hell?
But as you stab, I would say what is now a corpse shudders. Like it reacts to being stabbed.
I don't think it was human.
I don't think it was human either.
I'm the real Kel, right?
Should we stab you and see if you bleed?
What is real?
I'm gonna go to Kel, and I'm just gonna try something. I'm gonna just, because he's got that blue face paint, I'm just gonna try and smudge it off at this point.
Easy enough. I don't think I need a roll for that.
Yeah.
You reach up and it smudges.
And what is the corpse? Does the corpse still?
Ooh, good question. I think the corpse still has the face paint on it.
And the smudge isn't. Well,
real enough then.
Yeah, that's unsettling. I don't think we should mess with the cheesemonger's shop, because I am 100% convinced that is a nest.
What do we do?
Why don't
find the entrance to the underground city space?
Uh,
Does anyone see us with this wannabe Kel?
You are seemingly alone in the city. You
Okay.
hear it's the noise of the bellows is still going. There is like an eerie silence otherwise over the town. Even that guard is now gone. It's just been a few moments and they've disappeared.
I think we should, at the very least, drag this body somewhere where it won't be seen. And it still looks like Kel, right?
Yeah. And the guard's on the
Kid-
ground too.
Yeah. Oh shit. Did I kill him? Is he dead, or is he just knocked out? I guess it's up to me.
Yeah. It's up to you.
It is-
What's on that blowgun?
yeah, it is an assassin's blowgun, not a dog catcher's blowgun.
Yeah, but assassins don't always kill with the blowgun. You know, they could paralyze to do other
That's
stuff
true.
with.
They've got like garrots and all that wonderful
Yeah,
stuff.
but he's fucking dead. So I think we should
You feel
drag
for a
both.
pulse?
Sure, I'll feel for a pulse.
There's no pulse.
Cool. So he's dead, and that's fine by me. I'm good with that. I think we get together. We should drag these bodies somewhere where they're at least not seen right away. And I would like to also give a nice curb stomp to the Kel looking one so that it doesn't look like Kel anymore.
Go up
Brutal.
and drag him off into the bushes around the side of this shop here. And before you turn around, you just slam onto the face. And you feel like a crunch as your boot hits into it. And the face kind of like caves in. Doesn't bleed, but it doesn't feel wrong from previous curb stopping attempts.
Yeah. Cool.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I just don't want someone to see that and then someone to see our Kel and then try to eventually blame us for something or whatnot. So Fionn has been saying that they think that this is some type of like plug for some type of nest of insects or something. So can I check out that plug and kind of see if I have a good idea of what it is?
Yeah, in this case, I don't think we need a hunt roll for this. It's pretty obvious. There's no real question about it. As you go up, you can see the plug is almost a smooth wax. It's a familiar feeling in your, tallow candles or what have you. You're able to kind of scrape it on. It's not scrapable with like your hand. It doesn't melt in your hand, but with like a butt of a weapon or tip of a spear or something like that, you can carve into it fairly easily. And it seems like it's wax. It's gummed up the entrance here. It is very neat, all things considered. It looks very deliberate and intentional.
Hmm.
And we're looking for the entrance to some area.
Yeah, you're trying to get into the city to assess the situation at the very least. We know that the set goal is to find the entrance to Wellslow's underground city space. That might not necessarily be the goals of your individual characters, but that is the set goal to direct us.
Yeah.
I feel like this feels like an entrance.
It feels like a guarded entrance.
Do we want to explore the other areas and see what we might find, or?
I reckon that the bellows are probably the best place to, they're the heart of the city. They're the lungs of the city. What better way than the lungs?
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm noticing it. So
I nudged Kel. It was specifically what better way into the lines. Right, Spearman?
Oh, yeah.
Let me get him in the lungs.
Okay, well then lead on, Fionn.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and follow the sound of the bellows then.
Okay. Bellows are easy enough to see. And they are, these massive sort of leather wooden constructs. They sit in a frame, and there is some unseen mechanism that drives them. However, it is as they inhale It pulls air out of the atmosphere, so there has to be an entrance pipe. And it is a big one because there is a huge subterranean space. So I think this is easy enough. We can say our set goal is achieved. This will just put you in a particular location. There is a tunnel, a tube system large enough to crawl through, at the very least, in terms of like on your hands and knees, to snake your way through the bellows, tunnels, and down into the underground spaces. Now, we will shift from who goes there to the Amber Commons. But I think this is a good time to take a quick 5-minute break.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
We will BRB, friends.
Be right back.
B. Yeah, B. Look at us. Look at us. Pun free zone. Hello, and welcome back to SideQuest Episode 8 Trophy Gold. Josh.
Oh, we are 8? We figured that out?
Yeah.
We did. We looked. Which is 1/4 of 32, so close enough.
Close.
Nice.
Close enough.
Incredibly close.
Yeah.
Lucky number 8. All right, so we got about 2 hours left, give or take, based on our predetermined cutoff time. I think we're making pretty good time here. We only got to hit a few more rooms. All right, so we have moved into the Amber Commons. Now, for the sake of brevity, we're going to truncate things just a little bit here. We've skipped forward a little bit in time as you crawled through those underground tubes. Unfortunately, the tubes exit into a ceiling, but fortunately, it wasn't all that far of a drop until you found a massive tree. Now you found that this enormous tree dominates the center of what appears to be an underground park. And you can see from your vantage point as you were crawling down the tree that the park itself is largely filled with trash and detritus. There is an underground river. You can hear it rushing nearby that powers this large water wheel that seems to be what drives the bellows up above. You know, the water wheel turns and it turns a gear mechanism that shoots up into the ceiling as you're crawling down. You can kind of hear the of the system. All the while you're getting blasted by air coming out of those tubes as you're crawling through them at the very least. Now, this park, you're in what is effectively the center of it. As you're crawling down the branches of this tree, you're met with scores of bracelets and charms, presumably all left by lovers at some point in their life.
Ooh.
You can still feel the air pumping out of the bellows as you're crawling down the tree. And when you get to its base, there are a few things that lie before you. A little ways in the distance, you see a statue garden. The most of the statues appear obscured with garbage and detritus. Bees float through the air, depositing trash in piles there. Beyond that, or maybe adjacent to it, there's an open field. You see a quartet picketing. There's a blanket laid out. It's a little hard to make any details on these individuals, but they seem to be enjoying a nice time. And then you see, struggling in the distance, a young person of some sort, struggling to escape several dog-sized wingless drone bees. And that's when you notice the place is full of them, buzzing around in the air in small and large form. The drones themselves that crawl across the ground are dog-like in nature, in their size and stature. And we have our set goal. Find a way deeper and find a way to see in the dark.
Ooh.
Ooh.
What do you guys do?
Ooh.
What y'all thinking?
So we're just kind of off in the distance watching like a guy get torn asunder by bees.
Yeah, so you've crawled down this tree that is effectively in the center of what looks like a park. You're in the Amber Commons, whether you know it or not. That is this park-like structure that lies beneath the surface. Again, you're by this massive tree. There's that statue garden, the picnicking quartet, and then there is somebody being carried away by those dog-like bees. Whether they're being torn asunder is a little hard to tell because they are a little in the distance here. And think of it like you're in the center and these things are kind of around you in some form of array. Those are your set pieces.
There's
Interesting.
There'd definitely be, but they must not be having a good day. Being chased by, dog-sized bees and all. I think we should maybe try making our way towards the four people with the what was it? Where they had a quilt about them, right?
Yes, it seems to be maybe a family, maybe a group of friends. It's hard to tell. A quilted blanket is laid out, splayed on the grass that seems to be growing in this park-like area.
That's what I vote.
Yeah, let's check them out.
So that seems, and maybe I missed this. They're just chilling?
Here to be.
It's a weird
Dope.
place to chill,
Yeah, just lots of
spot.
giant bees and
Yeah, we should approach with caution, but definitely approach.
Yes, always cautious.
Okay, so who's leading the charge here on the approach?
Sounds like Fion.
Yeah, Fion's quite the go-getter this time around, I guess.
All right, I need you to make the hunt roll then.
Alrighty. There's 1d6, and I don't really think I have any skill relevant to this. Yeah.
Depends on what
I don't
goals
think.
are, I suppose.
I mean, my goals are just kind of to see what they're doing, kind of like get a good like peer into like what they might be doing. And I do not think charm, trickery, performance, or ropes helps me.
All right, 1d6. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
1. Let's go.
You lose any hunt tokens you may have had.
Ah, damn.
Something terrible happens.
Hmm.
As you approach from a distance, it appears to be locals of some sort enjoying a picnic. But as you get closer, you see their faces are blank. They have the visage of a human. You see the sunken sockets where eyes would go, the formation where a mouth would be, but the mouths don't move. The bodies shift and shake as if they're talking, but you don't see the mouth open or close. There are no eyes. It is just pure white, waxy faces that sit here and seem to be enjoying themselves. They have cups that they lift to their lips as the liquid spills down their faces. The food that they take and eat, you can see it, smell it. It's rotting. There's bits of general trash. There's an apple that had a piece taken out of it some time ago, but has since withered and rotten. There are carrots that are molding. And they're putting them to the mouths, mimicking eating here. And they notice you. In particular, a small mannequin. One looks almost like a child. One of these four here They're running around as if to amuse the others in a childlike antics, but they have thrown their shirt off to reveal the waxen skin that lies beneath, and they take notice of you and shouting in excitement noiselessly. They start running in your direction to join you into the festivities. As this little mannequin is rushing forward to greet you as new visitors, you see in their chest 6 angry, wriggling legs. And as it gets closer, you see entangled in its waxen chest is a large bee the size of a cat, its body and frame humming with the bee's outrage and struggle. What do you do?
I am going to use my ritual, which is Shroud, as long as they remain motionless, a group of creatures are hidden from other senses.
Ooh. Okay. So using a ritual is a risk roll because it is inherently a risky action. So going back to the risk roll, since this is the first time we're doing it in this session here, I'll quickly explain it. So we use a risk roll for difficult or dangerous tasks. You gain a light die if you are skilled at this because of your occupation or background, or in this case, if it's made easier due to a piece of equipment you have. This is a ritual. You can justify a few things, but we'll see if that makes sense. We will be dealing with devil's bargains when that comes. So you can accept another light die if you accept a devil's bargain, and then you mark or add a dark die if you're risking mind or body to attempt the task. This is a ritual. You are always risking mind or body to attempt it. So do you have a skill or piece of equipment that will aid you to gain that first light die?
I think I do. I think I have trickery.
Okay, I'll accept it for the ritual here. So you gain 1 light die, you gain your dark die, and then before we get into devil's bargains, let's talk about what we think could happen if you fail. Now, I think the easiest thing is if you fail this ritual, the little creature, the little person, comes running right up to you and carouses you for the festivities. But Hunter and Ryan, can you think of other things that might go wrong in the event of failure here?
Yeah, one of the drones or bees above us notice us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with. I think that's the most obvious, best one to do that. Either the little fucking kid thing or one of the big bees.
Okay, good to know. So devil's bargains. No matter what, the bee inside the childlike mannequin escapes. Do you guys have devil's bargains too?
That was going to be mine, but let me think real quick. Ryan, you got one?
So we're trying to be shrouded right now. Is that what it is? We're trying to be hidden from all of this.
And as long as we stay still, it should be fine.
And only the little one of the 4 is coming at us.
They seem to all have taken notice to you, but the childlike one is the one that's currently running toward you.
Gotcha. How about or like we become hidden, but a second one starts coming in our direction.
So no matter what, more are attracted. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hunter, do you got one?
No, I really don't. I really genuinely don't. It's like, I mean, because if we succeed, like we're hidden. So it's like, well, no matter what, then yeah, like a bee escapes or like more of them come towards us either way. I can't really think of.
Sure. Okay. So you do not have to accept devil's bargains, but the ones presented are no matter what the bee escapes and no matter what something else is attracted. Do you choose to accept one of these?
I think I choose the no matter what something else is attracted, because that can't Oh, was that little kitty?
It's a big kitty.
Oh, big boy. Not many people know this, but it's big boy season.
Big boy season.
Where was I? Well, he's adorable. Yeah, I think I will accept because like the thing is, if we stay still long enough, they should lose interest, assuming they don't start, you know. So I'm gonna accept the more are attracted, no matter what.
All
'Cause
right.
we should be able to outweight them, right?
So you gain 2 light die and 1 dark die in this instance. We're gonna have to use that D12 for the dark die.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. But go ahead and roll and let me know what the highest is.
All right. The highest is my light die with a 6.
All right,
My dark die had a 4.
All right, so you succeed. Go ahead and describe what this looks like.
I think what happens is that because we've traveled together before, people know this, so I like kind of give this like kind of like stop motion with my hands, and then I kind of just mutter this little bit and kind of like the smell of sea air kind of fills the place, and there's a haze that kind of like we get that like surrounds us that like no one like it's like we experience the haze, but that's it, you know. It's purely on our end.
Okay. So the 3 of you become enfogged as this ritual goes off, and you feel it kind of cascade around you, and you see that little child, like, man, keeps legs wriggling inside, is running, and then they kind of peter out and they're looking around. You see the face shifting up and down. You hear the buzzing of that bee encased within it rings in your ears, much louder than the rest of the buzzing in the place here. But as the mankin is looking around, looking for you, you hear more buzzing as a scattering of other dog or cat-sized wingless bees climb up over the grass and heading towards you. It seems like they picked up some kind of scent, for lack of a better terms, maybe some pheromone of some sort, where they're twitching and moving and shifting, and you can see their bug-like eyes are shifting and moving and looking for you and not seeing anything. But they don't immediately scatter either. What do you do?
Well, gotta just stay still. As long as we don't move, it should be fine. I think that I think we can talk about each other, you know, like I think. Although I guess you do have to move to talk. I'm not sure how literal motionless is, but
I think you could probably do like the
Are you talking outside of my mouth?
talk
thing,
out
you
your
know?
side of your mouth. Yeah.
yeah. But you know, you couldn't speak Italianly or whatever.
Yeah. And keep in mind that your voices may attract attention to.
Yeah. I I mean that's fair, but it does says hidden from other creatures' senses.
Yeah, but you're moving.
Plural. Fair enough, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think that yeah, no, I might just say just gotta wait this out.
Moments pass. Time seems to take an agony as it take 2. Time seems to stretch into an agonizingly long length. After a few moments, though, the childlike mannequin gives up its pursuit and jogs on back to its family. The bees seemingly stick around still. They're not like on top of you, but they don't completely disappear. They seem to be still looking for something. They picked up a scent. They're kind of scattered around. There's a half dozen of them. They're not anywhere particularly near you, per se, but they don't completely scatter and dissipate. And even as time kind of goes on, they drift a little bit further, but they're not like permanently leaving.
I think I'm gonna whisper to the other two. When we've got a good amount of distance, I'm gonna sprint. You're gonna follow me. And just
I don't nod. I'm like,
Yeah, you don't know.
I blink twice. No, yeah.
All right. And then I think, once there's a satisfying amount of distance between me and the nearest large bee, we're just gonna sprint.
Okay, you see your moment. It's time to move now. Where are you going?
I think opposite direction of the family of the picnickers.
Okay, so you can go back towards the tree. You can head towards that statue garden there, or you
can the statue garden. I think.
Okay,
that's.
So you see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. It's open. It's apparently a site of refuge. And you sprint. You go. Which of you is taking the lead here?
I think Fiona.
All right, we get to do this again. Another hunt roll for me, please.
Oh yeah, that's just a D6, right?
Yep, you get one for attempting it, and if you think you got anything that's gonna help you with sprinting or finding a location to hide, you can add the second D6.
I don't think trickery would help. I think there might be a lawyery case for it, but I don't buy it.
All right, give me that 1d6.
That is a 4.
4. All right.
Ooh.
So with a 4, you gain a hunt token. You encounter something terrible.
Oh, classic.
No. As you're running, you see the carved statues. They look like they're carved human figures. Once beautiful. And they're kind of evenly spaced apart. This was definitely like an observation area where people could wander and look at this artwork that was presented here. Most of them appear to be women, given the hair that kind of sticks out above the trash that now sits buried up to their chest. But as you get closer and you're ready to sort of dive towards it to hide, the smell hits you. It's not just garbage, though you do see plenty of old pieces of food. In here, probably more bits of furniture, boxes, and so on and so forth that lies piled about, but there are also bodies, both human and insect of a kind, all scattered here. And you can see and hear buzzing above. Bees of all sizes are zipping in, dropping off bits of trash that land, and then zipping away. Notably, as you're running towards this, you do not hear galloping footsteps at your wake, though.
That's good. Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
So we're just surrounded by refuse.
At this point, if you've chosen to sort of like enter the garden itself, and you probably have, given that you're trying to hide, yes, you're in this area. It was once probably like a little fenced area with a hedge row that kind of nicely decorates it, and is now conveniently a repository for trash. So as you're kind of like stepping through it, you see the bodies, you smell the bodies for sure. But you appear to be safe. even if the bees are coming in and dropping more and more. And you see maybe even like a whole swarm is dragging a corpse in your direction now.
Oh my God. This is awful. This is horrifying in such a deep and meaningful way. What do we do? Where we go?
If they see you, just play dead.
What if we started a fire here
Well, if
as a distraction?
I mean,
we
that would work.
Isn't like finding light one of the goals we have anyway?
Yeah.
Your set goal is to find a way to see in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I am actually half elf.
Yeah.
And
So dark
Yeah.
vision within 100 feet or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm good.
Of course.
Yes.
I mean, we do also have quantum inventory.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So I'm thinking I quantum inventory have flint and tinder, and I light this bitch up, you know?
Trying to set the.
Well,
Oh,
we could also throw a little narrative in there and be like rifling through dead bodies and find some that still had a bit of flint and tinder on it.
that is true.
You can do whatever you want. You are, the world is your oyster. You are apparently in not a place of safety, but you're not immediately pursued as you're sitting in this garden here. So you have a moment or two.
Yeah,
Let's run their pockets.
We're just in a mass grave.
Yeah.
Which is good luck, according to sailors.
Mass graves are good luck.
I think I'm going to poke through some of this trash and look for anything that might be of value or use while we're here.
All right.
Mhm.
It is worth noting that none of you have gold and you all have burdens. And we have an hour and a half. So.
Here's the thing.
I have a token, so.
When we beat those guards and stuff, after combat, do we get like a gold roll, or is that not for those people because they were just
there are gold rolls
little
in combat
bitches
that I forgot about.
Oh.
Let's go back in retrospect. You roll a number of dice equal to the endurance of the enemy, and I think it's either 6s or 1s that give you gold. Ryan, since you were the one to think of that, go ahead and roll 66, and we're looking for, let's say, 6s here.
Cool. Yeah, it says for each 6, harvest 1 gold of treasure.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
On this nice little this keeper thing you did. So I'm rolling another 66.
Yep, and we'll track 6s. This is what you found 6s in the past. Yeah. None.
Dope.
Okay.
Sick. Awesome. Great. Glad that we brought that up.
No fucking way.
Yeah. I got 3 1s though.
What's the chance of that?
Half.
1 and yeah. Yeah, it's not actually that surprising.
No, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I got it. That was great. Cool. Great. Awesome. Dope.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a single combat treasure roll get literally any gold in any time I've run trophy gold. So that's
cool.
Not uncommon.
Well, at least now we know. After combat, you roll. You get nothing anyway, but at least you got to feel ineffectual.
All right. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay. So you do have the option to search if you so choose while you're here. You have a moment of safety. You are in search of things to bring back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like these bees know what is and isn't valuable.
Yeah.
Right.
So
or they might. If the bees have a concept of mercantile economies, then I think we're fucked.
Bees are evolving.
It's that liquid gold.
They understand
you know what I'm saying?
capitalism. Yeah, I'm gonna use my spear and kind of like poke through some trash and like move stuff out of the way, and you know.
Give me a 100 roll then. Plus 1d6 for simply doing the attempt. And the second, I say you've already got the second die simply for using your spear to sift through the refuse here. So give me 2d6.
I got a 6.
You got a 6.
On the 1, kind of, yeah.
Take a hunt token and you find some treasure. How about that?
Very nice.
So as you are digging away, your the butt of your spear clinks onto something solid and metallic. You quickly can reach down and brush aside a sheet of paper or cloth and pull, looks like a silver chalice, slightly chipped.
Ooh.
It's probably worth a good gold to the right buyer back in Fort Durham.
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'd also like to say I have 2 hunt tokens, and Stella, I know you lost all yours, but you just got 1, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we could switch. We could turn in 3 to complete. Ryan, what are you doing?
Oh, for those watching, I've marked you with tokens.
I've got
Wow.
1 token, baby. It says so on the
Nice.
HUD. I guess stream overlay.
We could
It's not a
turn in
HUD.
3 of our tokens to find what we came here for and complete the current set's goal.
That is true. We can do that.
You're
Is
saying
that
we just
true?
leave?
Actually,
It is. It says you can pull tokens with other players for this.
Yeah, you can basically do it any time you want, as long as you've got 3 hunt roll tokens, or you can turn those into gold immediately now as you continue to dig through this pile. We can just keep pulling hunt tokens. So both of those are options available to you. If you wish to continue to explore this space, maybe find other places of treasure, or maybe help out other people currently in need, you have that option, or you can spend those hunt tokens. We can dive deeper.
I vote dive deeper.
yeah. Let's go deeper.
Nice. Okay.
We gotta go deeper.
All right, so you spend those hunt tokens.
We have to go deeper.
Now, for the first, or for the second part, in that silver chalice, it's a curious thing. It appears some fungus has grown to fill the cup of the chalice. There is light in this chamber coming in primarily through the holes in the ceiling that drift down inward, but the cup itself is almost glowing from that fungus that lies on the inside.
Fungal flashlight.
Of sorts.
That's interesting.
Now, it will be very useful to you because as you're sifting through the trash in this area, you hear a rumble, just a that kind of shakes the ground slightly, and again and again. Then you see off in the distance, near that giant tree that lies in the center of the park, the water wheel spinning in that stream, powering the bellows above, cracks and falls over with a resounding smash into the ground and a splash of water. You see from underneath it, a pair of claws just jut out of the ground and rip away parts of the earth as it uncovers itself and unburrows as this massive creature digs itself out from the ground. It is a giant furred mammal with squared off fingers for digging through the dense soil. You can see its nose and snout and eyes give you the impression it lives in darkness and forages for probably like insects and worms and whatnot, almost mole-like in nature. But its broad face is topped with a ridge of bone. Gives a beetle-browed appearance. Its enormous nostrils jut with sensitive hairs. And you can see lashing out of its mouth and throat. It's almost a coiled like tongue that seems designed to drive itself outwards into structures to pull its insectoid victims out. In this case, the one that has burrowed out of the ground that's caused such a ruckus here and is now jolting its way across the ground of the Amber Commons is coated in bees. Itself just a thick glob of honey is just coating the front of its face and its fur that's sort of matted down with the dripping sweet material. And there are swarms of bees that are just buzzing around it. All of those drones, the wingless drones, are now immediately beelining towards the creature as it makes its way across the ground, clearing the way for you and also leaving a massive hole deeper into the structure in its wake.
We pursue the hole.
Yeah. Opportunity, fortune favors the bold.
Mm-hmm.
And we need as much fortune as we can get.
Okay, so heading from the Amber Commons, you quickly sprint across, looking at the hole in its wake. It's a very neatly burrowed path that seems to go deeper. However, as you approach, the one thing that becomes apparent is the absence of noise. Outside of the creature roaming around now in the swarm of bees, there is no more swell of the bellows. Any torches that may have been lit or fires that were down here start to dim as the air is no longer moving. But that hole lies ahead. And you dive down into it. You have a cup full of fungus that is giving you dim light enough to vaguely see. But you might need something a little more substantial if you want to be a little safer. So keep that in mind as we continue forward.
So we need like a stronger source of light as we go deeper?
You might. It might be helpful. It is now. You're plunging into darkness and you have like the equivalent of like a little t-shirt that has that little glowy stuff on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the little stars you put on the ceiling as a kid,
Gives you a little bit of light, but it's not the most
I'll use one of my
source.
quantum inventory spots to pull out a torch from my backpack.
Okay. Pull out a torch. You're in the burrow now, and this is kind of apparent where the darkness is. But you pulled the torch and flick, and it lights. But it's not like as bright as you were expecting. There's not a whole lot of air movement down here. So the torch does cast a light, but it would be probably pretty easy to extinguish it if you catch my drift. So keep that in mind as we move forward.
Okay.
Stale air, baby.
No. The tunnel left by this digger leads down into an aqueduct. It appears you can follow the path of it, the scratch marks it made in the stone walls and the honey it smeared everywhere. It appeared to have crawled into this aqueduct from a lower portion of the city and then eventually broke through the wall to make its burrow out into the Amber Commons. Waist deep in water as you trudge through this aqueduct now. You can follow it deeper into the rest of the city here. The path is treacherous. It's relatively bee-free. But you do have a choice here. There are two directions, namely left and right. As the aqueduct sort of branches off, you're allowed a forking path that will bring us to our next set. The choice is yours, left or right. Which way do you go?
I'm right-handed, so I vote.
Oh, which way smells better? I would say the one on the left smells better. Hands down.
Yeah,
Left where we go.
Yeah. Left hand path works for me.
Left-hand path. The left-hand path will take us to the amphitheater. No. The aqueduct opens into this amphitheater. It appears the water is dumped out into what must have been like a communal well for people to come and grab a drink from during shows. I will say it definitely does smell a lot better here, but this amphitheater is not a friendly sight. As you push yourself out of the tube and slosh into the pond or the well area, what lies before you is a sight to see. All the seats in the round have been converted to open-topped cells for wriggling larvae. There are other people here. They don't take notice to you immediately, but you see they're wreathed in smoke and wearing robes. They have woven circular masks over their faces. And you see up near the front of this amphitheater where the stage is at, they're lowering one of their own into a wax cell and humming. The smoke here lies heavy. And while it keeps the bees that drift about the room docile, it fills the lungs. And you can feel it now that the air is no longer circulating. Your set goal: find the keys to the city. Those will allow you to go deeper. Now, as I said, there is the stage. The stage itself. You can see all forms of abandoned property that were left in the place. What presumably was a play that was going on before this space was abandoned. That's primarily where this ritual of sorts is sort of going on. It's not necessarily the stage itself. It's probably right in front of it as they're lowering somebody into one of like the seats where a wax cell now lies. Beyond that, there is the nursery, which is the rows of wax cells of varying sizing that fill all of the rows of this amphitheater as they circle around. But that is your set. What do you do?
This is so much more like disturbing than the dark adventure, because there's something more like permissible about these horrifying insects in a forest than in like a destroyed underground city that they're repurposing for horrific things.
They might be repurposing it for horrific math.
That's what I almost said.
Yeah. We don't know.
So there's figures in here with like masks and stuff, right? Like that's where my brain listened to. Can we tell that they're human, or do we think they're more of like the humanoid waxy things that the bees are like mecha-ing?
It's a little hard to tell. So you've kind of come out in the back of this amphitheater. It's probably more of like a concession area, if you want to be specific, where the well is, where people can go. So you've got a little bit of space before the rows of seats begin, and then that stage is down there. You're kind of at the top. The amphitheater would descend downwards with the stage at the bottom. So you've got a good view of what's going on while still being kind of obscured at the moment. As you look down, you see there's a group of people. I don't think there's that many. I don't know if I said it before. No, there's not all that many of them. Probably, I think 4 in total. That makes a lot of sense here. 3 of them are sort of standing around while they put the 4th into the seat where that cell lies, seemingly submerging them into wax and honey of sorts. The 4th member is wearing the same robes, and they wear their apiarist masks, but the old-fashioned ones, not the medieval ones. They're circular masks that cover their faces. They're a woven basket. You can tell they can probably see through it, but they would not allow insects to crawl through at the very least. That makes it hard to tell what they are, if they are those mannequin-like beings you encountered earlier, or if they are humans. But they are chanting, or at least one of them is. You hear a voice ring out as they are lowering one of the members into that cell. The queen is talking to our transformed brethren. We're so close to finding what she wants. Mefera will protect. And you hear them kind of echo, Mefera will protect the other two. They're still sort of preparing this entity now, submerging them into the cell. It is taking a little bit of time, though.
They're definitely not the mannequins, at least, because these ones can talk.
There's something. Can we, so we need to find, we're in the amphitheater, we need to find the keys to the city?
Yes, so in terms of the set goal, this is what we as players know. Your characters wouldn't necessarily know this. The keys to the city are the way to go deeper. It's the way to leave the amphitheater, the way to find your way to what lies at its center. Whether your characters would know that, again, is up to you. But you are in an amphitheater. You do have a goal of finding out more at the very least. You can turn around and leave, but none of you have the gold to do so without retiring to destitution.
We're up in like the concession stand area. Can we like try to sneak our way down towards the stage? Maybe even get to like the backstage area?
I say we stop them. Oh, wait, hold on. No, I don't want to get in more combat. I'll die.
Yeah, well, I also think that whatever this... the person being lowered isn't struggling, right? He's one of them.
No, they're wearing the same robes, the same mask. Yeah. They are... they're lowering them into a honeycomb-like structure built into the seat of this amphitheater. So
terrifying.
There is a thick, sticky substance that they're being submerged in. So they're sort of allowing themselves to be shifted and moved so it sinks further into it. They're probably like waist deep at this point, and it's only getting, more pronounced as they're sinking further.
I mean, I think that if they're not fighting, let it be. Let's try to at least get closer, though. So yeah, I would like to like get down, like does it look like there's like a backstage area, or is the stage kind of like the whole situation?
There probably is a backstage area. It wouldn't be shocking at the very least.
Yeah, I would like to try to get down there and see if we can get to like the side or especially the back of the stage.
Okay.
Without being seen.
Won't you decide if this is a hunt roll or a risk roll? If you think you're risking harm, I'll let you do it as a risk roll. But if you'd rather this be more of like a search or something of the sort, we can do a hunt roll.
I haven't even got to roll a hunt roll yet, so let's do a hunt roll.
Okay.
Let's go.
You get 1d6 simply for attempting the hunt roll. Do you have anything that would aid you in obscuring yourself or your group as you're kind of trying to sneak past this group that lies down there?
Well, I have surprise. I also have vermin, which bees are vermin. Specifically, it says insects, so I get a lot of skills in relation to insects and vermin and shit.
I'll take it.
So either one of the. Can you only ever get to 2?
Yeah, for a hunt roll.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, either one of those. Various smaller creatures. Yeah. Lice, fleas, rats, small insects. Yeah, so either one of those, I guess. Surprise or vermin, I guess.
Okay, so you're more of avoiding the bees specifically rather than worrying about the people, but that still is, all included in that hunt roll.
Cool. All right, so I roll twice and take the highest.
Yep, 2d6.
Dope. 6, baby.
All right, so you gain a hunt token and achieve your goal. Now, you sneak on by. You're leading your group past. Maybe you're ducking around the edge, not taking the center aisle through this space here. Go around the outer edge where the chanting group in robes are focused on their activity that lies in the center there. You can hear them humming now almost as a choir and some tune that you don't recognize as the member is getting lower and lower into this the honey that is now encasing them, probably up to their chest and shoulders as they make no noise. You see the masked face sort of staring up and outwards at their brethren that are humming, but you skirt around them and up to the stage. At the stage, you see abandoned props that lie scattered in piles. The backdrop features distant lands, roaring oceans, sailing ships in profile. But there are other backdrops that lie scattered about, forests, seascapes, and a storm-wrecked moor that's strewed about. You see those wingless bee drones, the size of dogs, are up here, chewing apart painted canvas glade, converting it into pulp, seemingly for some purpose, maybe building material. But back here is not pristine by any means. The pulp now spatters against the wall. You see the formation of more of these honeycomb structures. There probably is a curtain in a backstage area, but it's not any better to you at this point, but it does give you the opportunity to hide and regroup. You have a moment of respite up on this stage. You have not been noticed. The bees haven't taken notice either as they chew through these prop sets. What do you guys do?
Hmm. Uh,
Cower in fear for just a second.
Yeah,
I
what
think
we.
I think that's first and foremost. I feel like that's what
Yeah.
we
Yeah, that's really
I
good.
feel like
heroically and bravely cowering as God
Yeah.
intended.
yeah, and then yeah, just take in the horror of all of this bee-ness happening. Good times all around. Yeah.
Okay, so you've gotten up here. There's no immediate path forward. You are temporarily safe, but you still have no gold. You have no way forward. You can only return to the aqueduct and leave. Unless you do something fresh, something creative, something clever.
And
I only got the first thing, not the second thing.
So I'm thinking. So there's 3 people watching this thing go into the stuff.
Yep, there's 3 of these cultists, religious folks, whatever you want to call them. They're currently doing some form of ritual.
Yeah.
They've claimed you've heard that they're talking about this queen, and you heard Mefera. Those are the 2 things that kind of stood out to you as they're submerging this person in honey. You haven't really looked at what those other cells are, which you can only imagine what may lie within them. But right here, you are backstage watching as these giant dog-like bees are chewing up set pieces and making pulp out of them to form new cells on this stage area.
So
I now
I have intimidation and surprise as a skill. I was thinking maybe I could surprise and or intimidate those 3 fanatics, and try to get out of them what they have to be gotten out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Do you wish to sneak up behind them and interrogate?
That's where I'm kind of heading. Where are you 2 at?
Yeah, I was reaching for my blowgun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds like a good way to do it. Also, I will just say out of character, I'm now very much enlightened because I now realize you said Mefera and not my pharaoh.
Oh,
I was just like, where's the Egyptian stuff like
Ah, my pharaoh.
coming? Yeah.
Yugi, you must duel.
So does one of them look like leadery, or does one of them look like slightly like farther back? You know what I mean? Like a little bit away from the other two. Either one of those that would look most target like.
there are two that are very clearly, like adult in stature. There's one that looks like they could either be just slightly shorter, maybe younger. It's a little hard to tell with the flowing robes and the masks, but they do stand off to the side with a smoking sensor. That's kind of what's filling the room with smoke currently. But they are, slightly adjacent to the other two that are currently submerging the fourth into that wax structure.
Well, so what if Kel, Mr. Sneaky Soldier Boy, what if you go snag that little one and kind of like, hold them hostage, kind of, get information.
I like it.
And if either of the other two start acting up all, with the blowgun, give them a little whoosh,
A little that.
Theon, what we got?
I've been looking through the list of backpack equipment to see if there's anything that I could pull out of my quantum ass that might be useful. And admittedly, there is something called vermin repellent with 3 uses. There's also deer musk, which I don't think is relevant here, but gross.
Good times.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think because I don't have any weapons or anything on me.
I'm doing it.
Light. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna make a risk roll to like surprise the small one and grab him with my spear and like hold him hostage. Be like, give me everything you got. Uh-oh.
We're back.
And we're back.
Are we back? I see us. Hi. Hello, Twitch.
I don't know
Hi,
when that
Twitch.
happened.
So to recap, apparently there are bees. It's not been good so far.
Yeah.
All right, the risk roll. All right, let's break this down.
Okay. Break it down.
What could happen in the event of failure? Easy enough. I think they could immediately turn and attack you. In the event of failure, you could get a sensor straight to the face. The thing that's full of ash and smoke. Easy enough. Stella, Ryan, do you guys have any ideas of what could go wrong in the event of failure?
The bees chewing on pulp are alerted to our presence.
Okay, bees alerted. Okay.
Something emerges, or actually, no. I guess it's more of a devil's bargain idea. Okay. So I don't have anything for this in particular, but I do have an idea for devil's bargain.
All right, easy enough. So we already talked about it. You can die because you are using skill or intimidation or your spear. I think all those are sufficient. I would say there's no dark die in this immediate instance because you're not risking mind or body necessarily. Holding somebody up isn't the immediate recourse of death, even though that might spur a situation that will cause harm. So no dark die. But those bargains, no matter what, you will see what lies inside the cells.
My devil's bargain was no matter what, something unexpected emerges from the cells. So I guess we both have that idea.
That's supposed to be a bad thing, so that's not cool. Yeah, let's just run with that. I'm good with that one.
I'll take it, Domanski. I'll take your fucking devil's bargain.
Which one? You want to see inside it, or you want to?
Oh, I want to see inside of it.
You want to see? Okay,
Yeah.
so nothing emerging. Just
Let's peer the goop.
Yeah.
Got that
right.
goop.
Yeah. Does devil bargain? That's a dark die, right?
Light die. So you
Light
get 2
die.
light die.
Nice. Okay. Here we go. Ready?
Oh, a 6.
Yo, Buggy 6, brother.
So you succeed
Let's
as
go.
intended. So go ahead and describe what this looks like as you approach.
Yeah, so I like stay really low in this like amphitheater. I stay ducked down behind every like layer of seats, as I walk down kind of the aisle, and I cut in like one row above where they are. And I like stay very low as they're doing things chanting. I'm sure they can't really hear me make very little noise. And as soon as I get close, I grab the smallest one by like they're wearing robes, right? So like the shoulder of the robe, I pull him back and hold my spear out in front of his neck, and I go, "Hello there." Oh wait, I have an accent. My character voice for this character has been all over the fucking place. Never twice has it been the same. But yeah, let's go. Hello there.
Is it Kel or is it Kel?
Oh God, is it Kel or is it Kel? What?
So you grab them. You drive the spear. Are you behind them, kind of like holding them up?
Yeah. I'm
Okay. You hear the brazier that they had kind of clang to the ground. You get a whiff of like smoke that kind of curls up as it hits the ground, and they sit there. They don't seem to respond to your threat directly, but as you're grabbing them to hold the spear up, you see what lies in these cells. It's the first time you've gotten close enough to look. In some of them, there are writhing larvae of various sizes and forms. You see at least one of them has almost a fully formed of those dog-sized wingless drones in it, seemingly ready to burst out and hatch into this world. Though I don't know how these work, but we're going to go with that. But more
It
importantly,
does work like that, actually. They look pretty formed, and then they just burst out.
sick. All right. More importantly, entombed just next to the one they're currently driving the robed cultist into is another individual. They're sort of packed into this honey. Their eyes are open, though you don't see any sense of recognition immediately. What you do see is a long scar that runs down their face and cheek.
Their chin.
Oh, it's that one person we're looking for. Right?
Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
You catch the glimpse of that scar on their face. You have the cultists now with your spear against their neck. You're holding them back. And the other two turn in almost a serene-like manner. Violence isn't... Hold on, I gotta do the Bane voice because they're wearing masks. Violence isn't needed here.
You merely adopted the bees.
We were born bees. Yeah.
Great Bane, by the way. Love that. So I mean it too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, don't mind if I ask you to take off your masks then.
No, that is surely unnecessary here. You can respect our ways and our choices as we go about our business.
I draw like a touch of blood from this kid. I slice him just a little bit with the spear. Kid, I don't know if it's a kid. This smaller person
This
with a mask.
manlet.
Yeah, this manlet.
So you pierce through the cloth that kind of drapes over them into their skin. You could
Join us. Reach transcendence. Put down
Oh
your
my
spear.
God.
Grab a robe and mask of your own. We will all join and hear the voice of the queen. So we may do Mefera's bidding.
Hmm.
I'm gonna unmask the kid.
Okay.
Or the thing that I'm holding. I keep saying kid. It's an assumption that I've for some reason made by them being smaller, but they could just be, I'm 5'7". They could be me. Yeah, so I'm gonna like I have my spear in my hand, but like I'm just gonna like open up a couple fingers and then grab the mask and like pull up and back.
Now
And I just drop it the mask immediately. I don't hold on to it. So
pull the mask off and throw it to the ground. The rope pushes it back. And again, you see the face of a young, probably 16-year-old man. They look normal. You feel the warmth of their skin as you're kind of holding them. They are serene. They are not reacting as you are pushing the blade of the spear into their neck. No, more importantly, Fionn, Valen, from your vantage point on the stage here, what are you guys doing?
Valen, you got any ideas?
I feel like I'm doing kind of what I said before. I think I have like the blowgun out ready to like take a shot if Kel becomes endangered at all. So I have a ready to action, one might say.
You're ready to pounce, I see.
Ready to blow.
Ain't we all? I think yeah, I think I'm just gonna be ready to I thought I was gonna be so smart, I won't have to get that much money if I don't bring weapons in. This has not been the case.
Fisticuffs.
That's true. I could do fisticuff. She is a sailor,
mm-hmm.
or was a sailor, presumably before she crashed. So I think, yeah, I will be ready to charge in if need be as well. That I'm just kind of, they're currently out of sight, I guess, banking on the element of surprise.
So as you rip the mask off, it clatters to the ground, revealing the face. The boy does not speak. Again, is just sort of standing there. They don't tremble. You barely notice the action at all as they sit and wait. The others, I'd say they probably shift a little closer, not in like a threatening way, but kind of stepping back away from the cell where at this point, the other masked member is just completely submerged in wax and honey. And so their masked face is now dipped below the surface.
I'll turn back to the others and I'll inform them about the girl we were supposed to talk to with the scar that's in the cell.
Mm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And thus revealing the surprise we had up our sleeves.
Oh, right. We were surprised. I don't do that. I don't try and say I wasn't the character when I said it. So
no, we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. Because it would be a character with Cal.
That's true. He is a dumbass. What is going on here? Explain to me in a way that I can understand.
Very important amendment there.
We simply seek to commune with our sister.
What the fuck does that mean?
The sisters in the trophy world are something that your character would know. They are the saints. They're sort of
Gotcha.
they're not gods per se. Some believe that the saints were real people, but they are the the individuals that many folk sort of pray to. There is a saint for anything that you can think of, like a patron saint of. So it's religious deities that are prayed to. So they're speaking to their sister, and you can kind of assume that means one of them.
Well, any of you got any keys on you?
Oh, he's Cockney for that. And
Whatever. It's whatever accent I'm doing the time he talks. He doesn't know either.
Yeah, listen.
one of these days he's
had-
gonna be thick Minnesotan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you got any
existential
keys on
crisis
you?
just shot him through the whole plethora of accents.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Usually, I'm really good at making one weird, consistent voice. It's the one episode I'm struggling, so we'll take it in stride. You know?
Yeah, there we go.
So they say, we have enshrined ourselves in here. The queen and her consorts send their aid.
And he points up to the drones that sit on the stage, piling up pulp along the back area, presumably where an exit may have been, to form new honeycomb.
I think at this point, well, can I hear them? You know, I know I'm a fair deal away, but like,
You're like on the stage, and they're like in front of the stage. It's not that far.
okay. Well, in that case, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, take us to her.
We do not know where she is. We wish to commune with her through transformation.
Mm.
Our brothers have heard the whispers. That is what we seek.
Mm.
Join us. Be
No.
submerged. Become
No.
a part of the hive. Hear the words of the sister Mefera and the queen that guide us.
Yeah, whatever. We'll submerge, I guess.
What?
What do y'all want to do? Meta discussion. Out of character.
I think it's slaying time. We need to kill these people and steal their shit.
I kind of agree with you there.
Murder.
Anyone vote against murder?
No.
Okay.
All for it. Yeah, it's murder.
I'm gonna kill the kid I'm holding.
Lovely.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll shot. The dart goes towards whoever's been talking the most.
Immediately launch into violence. This is going to trigger combat.
Dope.
Makes sense.
Yeah, murder.
Kill.
All right, I need each of you, because you're all joining us at the start. I need each of you to roll your weak point. That is one light die. And describe how you are vulnerable.
I feel like
Oh, dope.
Nice.
I'll roll mine.
Ooh, all right.
3, 4.
Hey.
Okay, I think the way that I'm vulnerable is that even though I'm kind of used to, I think the way it is, like, even though I'm used to, like, you know, kind of being on like the waves or whatever, I'm used to like the sea legs. I think I don't have good enough balance to like account for like stairs or whatever. So I think I'm particularly prone to being knocked down and suffering a nasty fall.
Okay.
I think that's kind of reasonable.
Yeah, you know.
I think Kel's begun to mentally unravel. And so like psychologically, he's incredibly vulnerable right now.
He's so easy to manipulate.
Yeah.
Right. How about Valen?
Gosh, like how does one become vulnerable?
Emotionally.
Yeah, that's
Not
why.
psychologically
Yeah,
already. So.
physically, psychologically, yeah, I don't know. I guess emotionally, emotionally unavailable.
It could be as simple as like you have to sit still to shoot this blow dart or something like that.
Sure,
We
yeah.
don't have to get like super complex about it.
Yeah, let's do that for that. Like, yeah, I've just done like a range attack, so like I'm not like I'm super focused on like where my target was hit and stuff. So I'm like not focused on my surroundings as much same as before. And just
It's worth noting that with ranged weapon, you have a couple of options here too. So you guys can use rituals and weapons in combat, or ranged weapons in combat. In the most basic sense, they can be used just as any other narrative means to make the combat simpler. It's just we say that you're using them and call it a day. However, you can also use your rituals and ranged weapons in an attempt to lower the endurance of an enemy. In terms of ranged weapons, that puts your ammunition at stake, and you have to make an additional risk roll to do it. So we kind of slow things down a little bit. With a ritual, it's pretty much the same thing. You're using your magic to weaken the monsters by directly attacking it in some form. If you're using your ritual roll to weaken the enemy, you do not partake in the combat, so it makes the combat a little difficult, but you might be lowering the endurance. Does anybody wish to do any of those weird special circumstances before we begin?
This actually goes to the vulnerability thing. I think I actually want to change what I was, because I realized Kel was like the one with the torch, but like he's used both of his hands without the torch. I think maybe I'm the one holding the torch, so there's a vulnerability in the fact that I've got that, and if it goes out, we're in the dark. Would that be
sure?
Yeah. It's, hate to amend something after the fact, but I realize it's much more interesting than falling, is plunging us all into darkness.
Yeah, you can also use that torch as a weapon, but
that's true.
Are all three together like the same endurance, just like the three we did before? Is it like a total endurance?
It's easier just to keep them as one entity. There are, I'll tell you guys now, just for the knowledge of it, they are endurance 7 as a group.
Oh, dope. Yeah, well then, I want to use this. I want to use my range weapon in combat to reduce their endurance.
Okay, so I believe I know it's rituals that take you out of the roll entirely, but
here's range weapon at risk. Range weapons start with 3 slots of ammo. Make a risk roll to reduce endurance as normal, but instead of Devil's Bargains, add a light die for each unmarked slot of ammunition I'm willing to risk, and for each light die that comes up a 1, 2, or 3, I mark 1 slot.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do this first.
Okay.
It is a risk roll. So do you have any? I think you're still going to be part of the combat roll. If I'm reading this correct, it's the ritual that takes you out because it takes some time. So you are partaking in the combat, but you are risking your ammunition here and your ability to continue to fire in the future. So do you have to start, because this is a risk roll, do you have any skills that aid in combat or blow darting?
Blow darting? Yeah. Well, I think surprise. They don't know I'm there, and this is like an assassin's blowgun, so it's coming at them from like, it's not like they'll know that it's like, okay, it's not I'm like racing at them with the thing. Dope. Okay.
Do you wish to risk your ammunition? You have, at this point, I believe it's 3 ammunition slots, so you can add an additional 3 die if you so choose, but for every one that comes up 1, 2, or 3, you lose a slot.
How much it talks about how much endurance. So is it ranged and then rituals and then it's the same like thing underneath it? So like if I get a 6 that's reduced by 2 kind of thing, or is that just the ritual part? Like what is it? I'm on page 18 of Trophy Gold.
One second.
I just don't know, like, does risking more have a better chance of like reducing endurance?
Oh, it's on the page here. Rather than participate directly in the combat roll, you can attempt to weaken the opponent or weaken the monster by making a risk roll. Say how you're trying to weaken the monster, then make a risk roll as normal. If your roll succeeds with a die of 4, 5, or 6, you reduce the monster's endurance by 1. If you're using a ritual as part of your risk roll, see rituals in combat on the next page. Using a ritual can potentially reduce a monster's endurance by 2 instead of just 1, but comes with the risk of being totally taken out of combat on a failed roll. So you have the choice of 1 or 2 endurance reduction, but if you fail on the 2, you're taken out. So regardless of how many you wager, unless you want to enhance that up, you're doing 1 endurance reduction. It is only the ritual that has the variable success there.
Gotcha. So then I'll just do the 1, so I'm not taken out or whatever.
Okay.
And I guess I'll just risk like one slot of ammo.
Sure. So that gets you 2 die to roll.
Okay. And I'm risking. So if I roll, if any of them come up as a 1 or 2 or a 3, I lose that slot of ammo.
That is the way I understand it.
Dope. Okay, cool. All right. So 2d6 as my blowgun. Blows. Sick. Dope. Awesome. Wonderful. The best ever.
So you
3-3.
the one that you wagered, you lose that slot, and you are not successful in reducing the endurance.
Sick. Dope. Awesome. Good job. Good job, me.
But that takes us into the combat roll itself. So we have our weak points, 2 4s and a 3. The 3 of you have joined the fray. You're trying to get a 7 or higher. It is the first round, so you get no additional die. Stella, how about you roll the first one for us? Just 3d6. We're looking for the cumulative sum of the highest 2.
All right. That's 8, and it's 2 4s.
That is 2 4s. That means Kel and Valen, your ruin increases by 2.
By 2.
By 2.
Yeah, because we
There
both
are
had
2
4 and she rolled
4s.
2 4s.
But you do defeat the entity.
Oh,
Now,
I'm out. I'm dead.
the interesting thing here, we haven't talked about it yet. Kel,
You have armor?
you have armor.
Oh.
You can use your armor to negate damage in combat.
Your rusty steel shield.
If
I
you
do
mark
it.
your rusty steel shield, that negates both points of damage, so you are unscathed here. Valen, you have an armor or amulet of protection. You can do the same.
Yeah, I mean we might as well here. So I'll just mark it and take I take nothing.
Okay, so let's start with Fionn. You were the one who are unmarred at the situation.
Yes.
So how does this go? We have succeeded. You've exceeded the endurance of the entities that lie before you, the 3 of them. You will defeat them at the end of the round. So we're going to play out that sequence. So Fionn, describe, how do you do? What do you do?
I think what I do is I kind of just rush, like torch in hand, and I kind of run up those stairs, and I get behind them, and I specifically I bash them upside the head with just a big mighty thunk, and I then I guess to the other one I try and set them ablaze with this torch.
All right, so you get down into the fray, you're smacking elbows, you're running your torch, you're kind of backing them up. You've already damaged one of them who's kind of stumbling. Kel still has the smaller one, held at spear point. So let's go to Valen. Valen, you do take damage that is stopped by your amulet of protection here. So I'll kind of lead you into this, and then you can describe how you move forward in the situation. You watch as one of them dips into their robe and pulls out like a vial of some foul liquid, and they begin to throw it in your general direction, or at least they make that motion. What are you doing?
I think, yeah, they fling the vial at me, and I have this amulet of protection. So I fire the dart as this thing is coming towards me. It makes the dart shoot off track because I missed, right? So I don't hit them. And then this substance, I guess it shatters against me, but then you see it just kind of drip off of me, like, like when you have like a freshly waxed car, it just like beads up and falls off. But I feel like in my shirt where my amulet is, I feel like a tick, and I know that like this little amulet thing has like it's broken. Like it did its job. It flared its protection and it just broke. It was this little magical thing. It stopped the whatever the poison from hitting me.
Yeah. So Theon has elbowed one down, is waving the torch. It was probably the one that the torch is being waved at that's throwing the bomb at you. Since we've taken them out in this round of combat, I think you probably hit that one with the dart as they're throwing it. So you see them like as they're dodging back from the torch, they get hit with that dart and begin to collapse. But then we round off with Kel. How do you resolve the situation, ending combat here and also taking damage that is protected by your shield?
I think I go in for the classic like spear stab as one of them swings on me. And I fucking, I shield up as I'm.
Okay, so maybe it's the kid.
Yeah, maybe the kid. Yeah.
Breaks free and pulls a dagger from within the torch, and you take a step back and go for the stab as they jam it into your spear or into your shield, kind of cracking apart. Maybe it's wood. What's the spear made of, or the shield made of?
Let's say it's wood. I don't care what it says on there, but
yeah, it's this rusty steel. So maybe it just like jams into it and you see it sunder slightly as the blade cracks in and it gets jammed into the front there. But you're able to avoid the damage and you jab the spear into them as they collapse onto the ground. Hunter, I need you to roll 7d6 for the gold as a result of this. 76, we're looking for 6s to see how much gold you're able to retrieve. None. Love it.
Bro.
Trophy, not so much gold.
My goodness. So that's what have we done? 13 d6s worth of die rolls for not one single 6? Mathematically, we're getting kind of
I just rolled it again and got 1 6. Just for fun, I just rolled it again and got 1 singular 6. So
dope. So that's only like 20 rolls with 1 6. Cool. Good times.
All right, cool. So the dust has settled. The 3 cultists lie sundered on the ground. To avoid serious harm, the smoke still fills the room. The bees behind you on the stage, you can still hear them chewing and placing more pulp. We're running low on time here. We got a little bit left, but with that in mind, what do you guys do?
We run them pockets, baby.
Yeah. We're doing that. I think so.
Well, the run of the pockets was that 7d6 roll. They have nothing in their pockets.
Not even the keys?
They have no keys. They have no nothing.
Not on these cultists, apparently.
Motherfucker.
Yo, can we go scoop up that one they just put in there and see if he's got keys on him?
That is a good question.
And also, because I don't think Cal has mentioned it at this point because it wasn't relevant yet, but the person that we were looking for is in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, no, seeing that and seeing the person there, I think we'll tear apart that, be like, we got to see if we can save them. He was such a good former awkward lover of this one gal.
Yeah, a true friend.
Yeah. Whatever the backstory for that was, lover, friend.
It's complicated,
Yeah.
It was a thing, and then it wasn't a thing, and
happens.
That was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading something real quick.
Oh, good.
I should have just not blocked that hit and died. That'd have been really interesting,
Yeah.
What would have been a good way to...
What we do is we throw Fion into the cell from a distance and see.
Classic callback.
Yeah.
All right, so you're trying to rip both the on and off lover and the cultist out of the cells.
I think
Yeah,
just
they're
the
like-
on and off. Well, it's the same cell, right?
No,
Yeah, we just
they're
have to, like,
adjacent to each
oh.
other in
Well,
different
yeah,
scenes.
so we'll take out like the middle and see if both of them kind of like schluff out.
Yeah, sure.
I need one of you to make a hunt roll.
I'll make a hunt roll.
Do
You
it.
make a hunt
Get
roll.
hunty.
Do you have
Yeah.
anything that will aid in ripping two bodies out of honeycomb-like cells?
I don't think I have anything particularly related.
I think there's
was-
like a shovel or crowbar in the quantum inventory list.
That's true. There's definitely a shovel. You know, fuck. I'm gonna use like my shovel, which I've had on me this entire time.
obviously.
Yeah, and is there not a? Okay, I have to scroll all the way down to shovel. Can't. Where this H S K. There it is, shovel. All right. Yeah, I'm going to take the shovel. I'm going to use that to tear down this wax.
All right, so give me 2d6.
Tear down
Alrighty.
this wax. Mephiston, tear down this.
I
6 and a 2.
All right, so you pull the shovel in and you spill the sides of this. It's like a crusty beeswax like material. As you hear the crunch as you break down the divide between it, and two of these bodies spill out, seeping with like thick honey. Now, the one that was just submerged is unconscious of some form. They appear to be breathing, though. The one with the scar on it doesn't seem to have fared quite as well. But you do see two things. Hanging from their belt, the master key ring, big old like janitor's key ring.
Just says master
Oh.
on it real big.
It says master on it, real big. However, they also have the honey that surrounds them appears to almost glow like that fungus that you've picked up in that chalice. The honey itself, if you scoop up a little bit of it, might be worth the gold, but there are other potential uses for it as well.
No, I'm scooping up some of that honey.
All right, if you wish it just to be currency, add it to gold. Otherwise, you can put it as a piece of found equipment and just note that it is worth 1 gold.
I'm gonna put it in found equipment.
I'm gonna scoop some up and take it as gold, because then I have paid off my burdens.
No, it's just one of it all. It's worth 1 gold
Oh.
collectively. So
Yeah.
you can, in theory, you can narratively scoop it up, but we've only got 1 gold out of it.
You know what?
Well, that's enough
Narratively,
to-
in theory, I scoop it up. So
It's enough
Cool.
gold to pay off my burdens.
There you go. Not enough to pay off.
As long as you can sell it. All right, so we got about 20 minutes here. You found the keys to the city. I think we're just going to move forward. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
We're going to work towards our end point here. You've not quite found enough gold. You have to dive deeper to just pay for this journey out here, let alone achieve the goal that you have set out for. But you have the keys to the city. You can unlock the paths. You can find the way. You can break out of this amphitheater and make your way deeper into the city. And you found it. The heart of the city and the heart of the hive. The air in the sixth form heart is warm and close and sweet, busy with the comings and goings of drones. Thankfully, ones that don't seem to notice you at the moment. The walls in here drips with an obscene abundance of honey. And in the center, the massive mother of millions convulses, delivering another egg to be deposited among its own nutrient-rich cell. We've seen the mother of millions, us as players. At the end of our last session, she was described as almost a bee-human hybrid. You see the upper torso is human-like, but it's covered in sort of like a chitinous skin. You see the face of a woman. Her lower torso, more insect-like, more bee-like, and connected to a giant sac that is now birthing new eggs, which are deposited into the very cells by the drones that swarm around her. But you're not alone in here. Between you and the queen stand still humanoid forms, unperturbed by the bee-filled atmosphere. Bees crawl freely over their face, in and out of their mouths, and over their unblinking eyes. They look just like you. Your goal for the set: torch the hive and reclaim the city. Now, what lies before you? You see yourselves.
Deep.
There's 3 of them. They stand between you and what lie beyond. They look a little cleaner, a little less beat up, a little less covered in soot and smoke, a little much like you as you entered this establishment. But they are perfect replications. And as you enter this space, they stare. And behind them, the sixth form heart itself, a massive 6-chambered nest of special hexagonal waxwork containing perfect eggs, dripping down the sides into a trough as a jelly-like substance that appears to be a more pure form of honey. Now, you've seen the mother of millions. She rests in the middle of the sixth form heart, her dark eyes staring outward at you. What do you guys do?
Real quick, did last time we did this and you explained the queen, did I make a Hunter x Hunter reference? Because if not, I'm making it now.
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you.
We did it. We got our anime quota in, everyone.
Good job,
Right
everyone.
on the line, but we did it.
That was kind of late for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so in a meta sense, since this is our first time playing Trophy Gold, meta-wise, 3 hunt tokens become a set success, and we have 2. If we're somehow able to do another hunt roll, get a token, we can just complete the set. We have no gold though. We have 1 gold. Yeah.
Oh wait, shouldn't I have a hunt token from rolling that 6 a little bit back?
You got.
Yeah,
at least on my screen, you have one.
No. On my screen I have 0, but yours has 1.
Go ahead and take 1. Put that on the character keeper.
Okay, so we got. Yeah, no. Okay, whatever. Okay, we do have 2 hunt tokens at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, seeing the imposters, I mean, we gotta kill them. We gotta kill them. We gotta kill them right now. Like,
what if violence towards them only brings violence towards us. Well, if we try to get around them without raising our weapons, well, if they don't do anything,
he conquers who conquers himself.
That's so true, you know.
I'm
like
fully willing to throttle myself if need be.
I will conquer
I throttle
myself.
myself even if I don't need be sometimes, you know?
All right. So we got about 15 minutes left here.
And we're going to riff all of it.
Quick action. Do you wish non-combat solution or are you going straight into the fight?
I think... I don't know. What do you... Someone else call it.
I say let's kill.
Murder. Let's do it.
We're killing.
Murder.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go straight into this. This will probably be the end of our session because it'll take a little bit to resolve the combat. So let's all roll weak points. I need D6 light die from you and describe what makes you vulnerable as you rush forward to kill your own doppelganger.
125, yeah.
Okay, 3 different numbers.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, I think I'm panicking at this point, seeing like an imposter of myself. So I think I'm just the way I'm weak is the fact that like I'm not in as good as form as I would be. I'm sloppy.
Okay.
Damn, I was gonna say almost exactly the same thing. Like the whole thing is Kel's been unraveling this entire time. And so I think he's just like no shield, tears streaming down his face because he's terrified to fight another weird doppelganger. Like spear in hand, just like launching himself at them.
How about Valen? How are you vulnerable?
Could I do similar to what I did last time and like start it off by using the ranged weapon, which puts me in a vulnerable position, and
Sure.
by attempt to reduce their endurance? You
sit back and instead of getting immediately in the fray, you're trying to use your ranged weapon to your advantage. So go ahead and make a risk roll. This is not a surprise, so I don't think you get that first light die immediately, unless you can justify one of your other skills.
I mean, only vermin in the sense that we're attacking things created by insects. I mean, anything would be a very all of these are very abstract. Surprise, traps, betrayal. I'm betraying myself, you know.
It's so true.
You got to sell it to me, and I'm not hearing that lawyer.
Hey, I mean, I think there's a prize that I'm shooting him in the face.
Go ahead.
Okay, cool. But I'm also going to, further reading this, I'm going to risk both of my ammunition slots because I actually get a light die for each slot I risk. So does that give me 4d6 to start? 1 for regular, 1 for the surprise betrayal, and then 2 for the ammunition slots?
3, because you need the surprise betrayal to even get the first light die or risk roll.
Oh, okay. All right. So I only have...
So I get 3. Is good.
3d6, yeah, and all I need is a 4, a 5, or a 6 on 3d6. If I get at least one of those, if I get at least one of those, I will reduce the creature's endurance. And if I get a 1, 2, or 3, I just lose all my ammo. So hopefully, at the very least, I get one of a 4, 5, or 6.
So 4 and a 5. So you do reduce the endurance, but you roll the 1, so you lose one of your slots. So you only have 1 slot left.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
All right, that's fine. But
right, I got
to do that. So good.
Quickly describe how that your action sort of sets off these doppelgangers.
I think we all kind of come into the tunnel. We post up, seeing ourselves, maybe do one of these, and they do one of these things. We all look at each other, and in the same kind of breath, we all just take off. So I think Kel and Fionn start moving forward. I pull out the dart, and I shoot myself right in the fucking face. And that kind of triggers them into motion. Maybe they make some type of weird bee scream or something. But I think a dart right to the dome gets them moving.
Okay, cool. So you put them off their footing. They were looking with an inquisitive nature, and then you launched into combat. You put them out the back feet by hitting with the dart first. That reduces their endurance. It was from a 6 down to a 5.
Shit, yeah.
So let's get into our first official round of combat. All 3 of you are now entered into this combat situation. So you start with your 3d6. Hunter, how about you make that first
I would love
combat
to.
roll?
Uh,
A 4, a 4, and a 2. That is enough to beat their endurance, but we did roll a 2. So Valen, you take a point of ruin.
Yep. Sick.
Even from this distance. You watch as you pull up your dart, flick it at yourself. So does yourself. Just pick up the dart, shoot it right back. That's what increases your ruin. Now, let's quickly narrate that situation here. You are able to defeat them, so let's keep that in mind as we move through the sequence. Let's start with Fionn again. Describe what you do and how you take out your own doppelganger. It's a better one.
So I'm still like the one holding the torch, I guess.
Mhm.
So I think what I do is I run up and I immediately like try and jab the torch right into her eye.
Okay.
Just
So you run up and as it hits the face, the flame goes alight and you see your own face melting in a stream of wax until she collapses onto the ground, no longer moving. Kel?
and I'm gonna kick her.
Oh, then you kick her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kel,
Important.
how do you take out your own doppelganger?
Oh, I run at him and I go like spear from the side of the head, because I'm just like wild man in it. And I've done this already. And so I hold out my hand as I do that to block its hand. And as I go to like stab, I loosen my grip a little bit so the momentum of me swinging my arm forward moves the spear forward a few inches and then I stab. So creates just enough space,
Yeah, so you stop your own self getting stabbed and you jam it through, and your doppelganger collapses on the ground. Valen, bring us home. How do you take out your doppelganger to end this combat?
I think it's the Battle of the Dart situation. I think as I bring up mine and they bring up theirs, like I fire mine off, and like I said I shot him in the face, but maybe I hit it right in the neck, which goes right into the jugular. But I see their dart at the last second, and I dodge, and it just hits me in the shoulder instead. So like I survive the dart, but they take the poison straight to the throat.
Perfect. I would give you a condition, but we're at the end. So the dart goes in. You watch as your doppelganger collapses onto the ground. Stella, real quick, I'll have you make the gold roll as you guys quickly try and grab anything that has been dropped.
So that's 66.
66. We're looking for 6s.
You only need like 5 of them to get
all 6s. Come on. Oh,
2
We get
6s.
2. We get 2.
2. That's
All
better
right,
than nothing.
so scattered pieces, we can just count that as gold, so I don't have to dig up treasure here. Distribute that as you see fit.
I'm gonna say
what do hunt tokens become?
You have to spend that actively in the moment, but a hunt token is 1 gold.
sweet.
Okay, so you have 1 gold from the honey. We have 2 gold that we just picked up. And we have 2 hunt tokens, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5, right?
I also have 1 gold already.
Oh, dope. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So fuck it. One. I'm gonna give 1 gold to Kel, 1 gold to Valen.
Okay.
Yep.
So we've got our gold. We're getting
We did it,
closer
y'all.
to meeting
Good
our
job.
burdens. Now, in the minutes that we have left here, you have defeated your twins, your doppelgangers. The mother of millions in the 6th form heart lies before you. This was a thing of legend, a thing of rumor, and here she is staring with black eyes at all of you. To end our session, what do you do?
I've
Throw
got.
the torch.
I was gonna say not only throw the torch. I've got grease, 6 uses. That sounds flammable to me.
Sick.
Gonna just throw my big thing of grease and throw the torch.
You throw the torch,
Yeah.
the grease, and the smoke fills the city, billowing outwards as the sixth form heart and the mother of millions goes up in flames. Now, the three of you return to Fort Durin as heroes of a sort. You have just enough gold to meet your burdens to continue to be treasure hunters. You do not have enough gold to quickly heal your wounds or repair your equipment, so your next journey is going to be perilous, but you did survive.
Hell yeah.
At the
Hell
very
yeah.
least. And you are not able to move any gold into your hoard, all things considered, but you are renowned and you are heroes.
And we killed a bunch of bees.
But you killed a bunch
Yeah.
of bees.
Fuck
Fuck
those
save the
bees.
bees. Fuck
Yeah.
save the bees.
Mm.
We're putting
No.
so many neonicotinoids into the neonicotinoids. Is that? I've never said that fast. Regardless, we're putting so much nasty pesticides into these woods.
Now, we leave on a last note here. Away from your characters, we see, as the city begins to burn and the smoke billows out, that one cultist left unconscious in the amphitheater stirs. You watch them wake, and we follow them as they pull an egg out of the sack, the hive, and carry it with them. Small vial of royal jelly in their hands, intent on birthing another mother of millions and the sixth form heart that follows.
Dun dun dun. We knew we should have killed defeated people.
Gotta double tap, people. Remember to double tap.
Double tap.
Double tap, yeah.
This has been Trophy Gold, A Heart Hums in Darkness by Michael Van Vleet.
Good times. Creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy, Michael.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much
it.
for running
Yeah,
us through
I
so
that.
good.
enjoyed this so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's both side quests. That's Trophy Dark and Trophy Gold. What were you saying, Stella?
Oh, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, good times. I'm glad we got to do both back to back, and it was really cool to do a adventure that from the same creator with the same kind of creepiness, but also that kind of carries the story forward. Is really neat to be able to experience both. So
Yeah.
good times.
Yep.
So if you're listening, definitely check out the previous side quest number 7 for Dark and episode number something back in the day, 2284, I feel like something like that, for our review of Trophy Dark and Gold together. It was primarily Dark, but we touched on some of the things like hunt tokens and the meta currency and stuff on Gold as well. Fun episodes. Check us out. I think a bunch of us are going to be back tomorrow with Meat Castle.
Not you, Josh.
Josh, you're not invited. To do some Tacticians of and it did. Our whole last week got rescheduled. It was a good time. Yeah. So
We suffered a curse.
Yeah. Too many Tombs of Undead Kings. So check us out tomorrow for that, and join us on Friday. I think Jert's back. Jert's back again.
Sure is
That's right.
back on Friday.
Yeah.
Sure.
Josh, you have something brewing right now, do you not?
Oh, yeah, it is very thematic, too, because it's bee-related. So we are on the cusp of the crowdfunding campaign, at least for the Parthenogenesis of Hungry Hollow. It's the next liminal horror adventure. If you liked the last 2 trophy sessions, you're going to fucking love what's coming in that, too. So we are going through backer kit for that through Space Penguin. They're helping us out. We are just about a month out from the launch of the backer kit, so keep an eye out on various social media feeds for the link so you can join in and be ready once we launch.
Woo-hoo. Can't wait for
Oh
that.
yeah.
As someone
the
who
jam
to
still
Reddit, I can
jamming?
confirm it's good.
Oh yeah, we got a game jam too, but that's launching in conjunction with the module. We're going to do a game jam. It's going to last all summer long. It's called our Twisted Classics Jam, where we want people to take old adventures that like primarily like old D&D shit, old stories that they like, anything that they think is a classic, quote unquote, and then remixing it, rebuilding it for modern horror. The parthenogenesis of Hungry Hollow is at its very base, it was taking Against the Cult of the Reptile Gods and completely stripping it down to its bare bones and rebuilding it for modern horror. So we want to see other people do something similar. So if that interests you, come to our Discord server and find a link somewhere. But so the jam will start next month. And it's going to last until the end of summer. We're butting that up right against the deluxe edition crowdfunding campaign for Liminal Horror, which is sometime this fall.
Yeah. So Josh is back for all of our side quests. Obviously, this is our side quest crew. As long as all of us can make it, you will see all of us. But trust us when we say we will be talking about maybe hopefully playing some or doing some more liminal horror stuff throughout the summer as all of this stuff falls out, comes out, is upon us. Yeah,
it would only fall out if it wasn't the autumn.
Yeah, exactly. So stay tuned for that. Again, join us tomorrow, and you will see myself, Hunter, and Stella again with Christian Stroll, Meat Castle. And that is our side quest number 8. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you all for being here. And Josh, once again, thank you for running both.
Bye. Bye.